Too fucking late. Okay.
Only YouTube
Let me make
or
sure it's
Twitch also?
just YouTube for now.
Dang, dude, criticizing their game and talking about it in calm fashion is not going to get you an alpha invite. That was a joke. Dang, dude, criticizing their game and talking about it in calm fashion is not going to get you an alpha invite.
Oh shit, have you yelling on? Okay. Is the quality good?
Quality looks like shit. No, it's
Okay.
not, but
You sure? You sure? What if I
That was
move?
so helpful.
What if I move? Is the quality still okay?
the move.
I'm moving. I'm moving.
It's a delay. I have to wait and see.
I'm still moving. I'm moving further.
It's like still buffering.
Oh gosh. I'm still moving.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
looks good.
Okay.
Try to move the camera fast.
Move the camera fast. Okay.
Yeah, left and right, because
Left
that's
and right,
usually
left and
when
right, left and right.
pixelating occurs. Not walking, like aiming.
I can't tell
do it.
between what you're saying and what the stream is saying. Because all I hear is I'm
Is the
moving,
quality that good?
I'm moving. It's because you keep saying the same thing over and over.
I'm doing
Yeah,
lots
I guess
of
it's
camera
okay.
shakes. Okay. Alright, that's good. That's good. Reckless, you there? Oh god. Okay. So for the people who may be watching the stream, later down the road when it's already been offline, I'm here joined by Reckless and Muzu, who are longtime players of Black Desert. We've all been playing the game since about since open beta for you, right, Muzu?
That's right.
Yeah, and then Reckless in CBT3, and then I, of course, in CBT2, because I'm the best. But yeah, we're just going to be talking about all the different topics about NA coming up, NA launch, differences between all the versions, and such. But anyway, first course of topic is, of course, the NA EU launch, which recently just got announced. When was it? Yesterday? That was the last announcement, right?
Yep. We basically just got the teaser website and some information about the business model, I suppose. No further dates, of
Yeah.
course.
When do you guys think it could be? We could start seeing the alphas starting, like maybe November. Do you think?
Sounds plausible to me, actually.
What are your thoughts,
Yeah.
Reckless?
Yeah,
November? You think November?
November-ish.
Well,
The community manager already posted about giving out alpha invites. So
mhm.
it could be happening pretty soon, also considering a lot of other games are coming online in these months.
Mhm.
Yeah, you wanna try to stay
They-
competitive, I suppose.
Yeah, because they're going to be competing with Blade and Soul, right? Like, since that's coming out
Mhm.
also very soon. Alpha's already started, right? The technical tests.
Alpha just started,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think alpha was this weekend for founders, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha. So then, do you think it would be wise for them to start trying to compete with Blade and Soul, or would it be better to just wait after a Blade and Soul launch so the hype dies down, and then, they kind of take advantage of that, picking up all the follow-offers of Blade and Soul? Or maybe it'd be better for them to launch before Blade and Soul, so that maybe, they take all the people who were gunning for that game first, maybe?
I mean, a business
Well-
perspective, it's whoever's first to do it wins. So, usually.
I do agree with that. It would be a bad move to wait, especially since Blade and Soul is actually highly anticipated, right?
Mhm.
Just had its
Where's my horse? Where
hard problems to get over here, so there's a lot of people that actually want to finally try the game besides Chinese servers or private servers.
Yeah.
So it would be a better move to be either up in the same time frame or before.
Hmm.
Because as Reckless said, waiting usually is like the worst thing you can do in a highly competitive market.
That's for sure. Well, well, since it's launching soon, I think a lot of people would like to know what the differences are between all the versions. Like, I know there's a lot of new players coming in, and they've probably heard from many other people how the Korean version wasn't as good as, or the Korean version wasn't doing well in the beginning or whatever. So they might come into the NA version with like that horrible connotation to it, or that horrible expectations. So it might be a good idea to go over what could possibly be changing within the versions, or what we know of that could be changing. For example, we know that the RU version, they changed the karma system a little bit. Do you want to speak on all the changes, Reckless, since you have the most experience with killing people?
Wow. So in the current state of Korea, if you flag on someone, you currently lose 10,000 karma from the get-go. And if you attack them and they decide to fight you back, if you kill them, because you still currently are only one flag, you lose negative 200,000 karma, which is essentially like, how much of a grind would you say?
Let's see. Since you're getting about, what is it, 80 karma. If you're talking about mansion mobs, what is it, like 80 karma per kill, and you're killing in about groups of 6 or 7, I would say. So let's just say like 500 karma a group, just to be 500 600 karma a group, and then I think I calculated in order to farm all of that back, it was something like 5, 6, 7 hours just for a kill.
Yep. Sounds about right.
And I think that's absolutely horrible. Like, you're only getting like 1 kill a day from a normal play session, you know?
Yeah. And I think that stemmed from a lot of the PvEers wanted just to PvE in peace. They didn't want to worry about getting ganked or PvP'd.
Because the game wasn't originally like that. The game, during the betas, well, I guess it's just because they didn't finalize what kind of system they wanted to have to deter, PK, like uncalled for killing. But, back in the betas, it didn't feel as, what's the word for it?
Penalizing.
Yeah, penalizing.
I mean, the old system was balanced in the sense that if someone flags on you, and you don't want to flag on them and fight, you just move, which is usually prominently why people flag on you. There's people out there that are going to PK you just to PK you, but those people are going to do it regardless if there's a harsh penalty or a lenient system. So there's nothing really deterring a player from doing it. It's just actually penalizing. It's not promoting active PvP. Back in the day, in the December build of Korea, it was healthy because if I flagged on you and you decided to hit me and you wanted to fight back, we both faced no loss of karma per death. It was just a fair fight. The system was saying, well, you are acting in self-defense, so therefore you both are free to PvP.
Right.
Now, back in the day, you lost percent of XP, where there was a little risk in dying. But, so if you decided to PK someone that blatantly did not want to fight and did not flag back, and you PK'd them, you were harshly penalized, which the system worked. Now, I know I heard of people, or Steparo might have covered it, but people were exploiting that system by, when people were PvPing, they would come in with random characters, maybe low geared or completely naked, unflagged, and then those people would do AoEs and then kill those people and then gain negative karma. Now, I could see why they would be like, oh, the system is broke, it doesn't make sense, and it's not fair. But then again, like, shouldn't the player be kind of paying attention to when they're PvPing, to when they're throwing their AoEs? Like, I think it's just it just tones the system down to make it more hand-holding, opposed to saying, hey, it's your responsibility to make sure you don't kill that person with an AoE.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I definitely feel like they could have handled the whole karma system a little bit better. Like, they have such a good underlying system but they just didn't take it as far as it could go. Like, it'd be cool if they maybe had different penalties for different types of kills. Like maybe if they're under a few levels under you and you kill them, if you don't know them, you lose much more karma than if they were the same same level as you. You know, or there's a few other examples you can actually show. Take the karma system a lot further than it is right now.
Yeah, and the current state of Russia is actually a lot better. It promotes healthier random PvP outside of T1G, which is guild versus guild. Because due to, if you do player kill someone, say you do flag and they flag back and you decide to kill them, you still gain negative karma, but you only gain negative 60,000 negative karma opposed to 200,000 karma. Also, you gain a lot more karma, positive karma, from killing mobs, opposed to the little you would gain in Korea, making it a more prominent system that functions and still kind of penalizes you for killing someone in cold blood. Even if
I agree.
But to a sense that it actually makes you be able to PvP, not as in the current state of Korea.
Like overall, I'm overall seeing like a lot more freedom, a lot more fights going on in general. Just overall makes the world feel a lot more fun in general. Just the game.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think PvP is where the majority of the difficulty from this game is at. Obviously, as you can tell, none of the mobs are that difficult at all. Like, I'm fighting a whole boss by myself. Like, what kind of game normally has you fighting bosses by yourself? MMO-wise, at least. I mean...
Yeah, difficulty in this game is only present in gear difference. Like, if your gear is not standard of that leveling place, it's going to be hard. Or if your level's not high enough, you're going to be missing. Therefore, you're going to take a lot more damage. You're not going to be able to kill them efficiently fast. Yeah, the difficulty is only based on gear. Like, if your gear is okay and up to par of those mobs, then you're fine and you're going to breeze through it. If not, you're going to struggle a bit. And that's the only difficulty.
Completely agree. What are your thoughts, Mizu?
Well, the thing is, in terms of leveling, right, is that the system for Black Desert works different.
Let me turn around Black a
than
little
in
bit.
most MMOs. So, have the gear, but it does not have either level restrictions nor stats restrictions. Therefore, you can equip anything you want or enchant anything you want, which makes it kind of easier. But also in terms for PvP, you never quite sure know what kind of enemy you're facing.
Yeah.
The gear always looks rather, what's it called, subtle. So you can't see, oh, this guy has a special weapon. Looks very, very differently. Everybody looks kind of the same.
Yes.
So you never quite know, is this opponent now over-gearing me, or is he lower geared than me?
And the thing is, it's kind of bad because this game is so gear-based as well.
Exactly, but the thing is, at some point I do understand the decision, because now when you're facing an opponent, you are doing the double take. You're thinking, is he overgeared or isn't he overgeared?
Yeah,
and
that's
not
true.
just like, oh, look at those shoulder pads.
Those oversized sort of, holy shit!
Yep, exactly. So you're better off like, yeah, let's just go around this guy. So the decision was kind of made to, I say, encourage PvP, since it's like, you take the decision, but you also take the responsibility. So yeah, it's an interesting design from both points of view. As in, most players, they just know, okay, this gear is overpowered in a certain sense because it has a certain unique look to it.
Yeah.
Which basically every other MMO brings to you, right?
Right.
So I think that would be a nice change for our version, actually, just to give the gear certain looks, just to differentiate a little bit more.
Someone
if
else
I
actually
remember
brought up
correctly,
kind of not
go
not
on.
the same thing, but someone else brought up that it would be cool if they have a way to transfer the looks of different items to different gear. You know, like who had it? Like
Yes.
Terra and Aeon had it.
Transmodern?
Yeah, exactly.
WoW had it too,
Yeah.
transmodifying. The thing is, if I remember correctly, right now there is a cash up item on Korea and on Russia that allows you to do that,
There is.
but only on certain costumes. So, for example, apparently you can make your gear that you need for professions, like you know the fishing robe or the gathering robe. You can transform it into an actual costume.
But-
So take up your gear slots.
But that's using pearls, like a coupon, the clothing voucher,
Yeah,
right?
let's look into that for now. But the system is there. That's what I'm trying to get at. So
Gotcha.
changes could be possibly made. There was another thing, I think I've read it like half a year ago. If you remember, the first kind of skin sets we got in the cash shop, they were
Yeah.
actually skins in the game for the crafted items, but they just got blatantly took out and made them cash shop skins. And I think we should get them back, since that was the initial idea. At least if you craft something, you want to see a difference and not look the same.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only set right now, or rather two sets, that look really different are the two boss sets we have, right? Which is the Red Nose armor
And the Tree Spirit armor.
the Tree Spirit armor.
Yeah.
They are totally unique in looks, and if you see someone using that set, you know, okay, this might gonna hurt a lot.
For sure.
But
That-
otherwise, yeah.
Good. No, good. Sorry.
No, I actually made my point.
I was saying that brings me up to another point is I feel like they could make dyes a lot more available to players who aren't taking use of the cash shop. Like, yeah, I understand that they want to make money, so they can definitely have dyes in the cash shop. That's okay. But why not also have a way for players to earn them in game besides the
Or craft
very
it,
few quests that are in? Yeah, that's content that they're just locking away. That's content that could overall draw players in. You could have good.
It could be like a creative process too. Like there's no defined recipe at first, like everything in the game, and then they would have to like pick berries or something, and then they would
Exactly.
have to throw it in to see what pigment they got, and then they went out on a hunt for berries for the certain thing, and then you have a whole
Then
little.
you use alchemy to make colors.
I'm not sure. That'd be cool.
I mean,
I don't know.
it would combine certain aspects of the game. It also would be a way to make money
Yeah, for
without
sure.
using the cash shop. While I really do agree, colors, it's all behind the paywall, which upsets me personally a lot.
Yeah,
I've
because it's making
played
all the
Terra
diversity
for
behind the
3
paywall.
years. Exactly. And in Terra, before they went money grabbing scrap way they do now, you could get any kind of colors. And one thing about MMOs is always trying to be that certain individual, right? You
Mhm.
try to stand out. And Terra gave you the opportunity, at least with colors, you could stand out a lot. Even though the armors looked the same, you always knew, okay, well, that's Reckless. He's always running around in blood red. Because he likes that color, for example. And it's all behind the cash shop. Not even to mention, you even get scammed twice. You need to buy the colors, which are like base colors, and then RNGesus is
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
I'll make out of 2 reds, I'll make a yellow, which is like, what?
Yeah.
How's this a thing, you know? So for our version, it would be really kind of nice to get at least, let's say, the base colors and some advanced colors
I think so too.
implemented, so you can get them some kind of way in game, either through professions,
Questing.
quests, or let's say you're online 10 hours here, take 3 dice or something.
Hell,
like
even
that.
as a random rare drop, that would even be cool as well. Like
Or that
random drop from a
example
monster,
too.
yeah. Like maybe killing tree spirits could get you that cool green color that they have.
That would be actually a really nice idea.
Yeah, so like base colors need to be accessible through some type of in-game way or currency or crafting, which would be cool because it, the crafting in this game is fairly cool. You discover new recipes by just experimenting. So say collect this from this mob and throw a berry from this thing and this part from alchemy and then boom, you got this color, voila, like awesome.
Yeah.
But then like have maybe cash up items as like maybe like they add glitter or something because we all know Mizu loves to look fun.
Oh god.
So say just stuff like that, but have the base palette in game attainable some way through the craft system or.
Well, that makes actually sense. If you look at Korea right now, we got a shitload of new colors, right? All the super bright neon, I'm fabulous colors, which by the way were promised will never happen, but. Money, I digress, I suppose. But yeah, you could just say, well, all the super bright, awesome rainbow, the more you know colors are in the cash shop, but everything else that looks moderately normal, make it available in game.
Was that a Reading Rainbow reference?
I think it was.
Continue.
Maybe. But yeah, no, I totally agree. It should be available in game, do certain tasks. What you even could do is like, the minigame you have to play when you're cooking for the profession, right?
Mm-hmm.
You basically copy the whole system, and what you're doing is mixing the colors. Instead of putting in ingredients to cook, you put in colors to get other colors.
Yeah.
Since people usually have the brains for basic color mixing knowledge, you know that if you take this color and this color, you will get this color. It might not be as neon bright as you like it, but hey, you got that sweet purple.
Yeah, and then even to get those base colors, you could do things like I don't know, going around gathering rare plants and just getting the pigments from them, mixing it with water or something like that, doing some alchemy here and there, and then yeah, doing that whole mini game that you just said. It'd be great.
Yeah, and boss drops would be actually quite a good idea.
Holy
It also
fuck.
would give. What's up?
Sorry, just tree boss is having its way with me. Okay, all right. Anyway, continue.
Well, he doesn't want to give you the nice.
So Reckless, what do you think?
No, yeah, I think we covered it mostly. It just needs to. There's way too much things that are behind paywalls that should not be, and it's just obvious, cash grab or money grab, and it needs to just be attainable by players through, like a great crafting system they have so far. So, and like Mizu said, like as an MMO, we don't want to look alike. We don't want to look like every single player. We need to look different.
Yeah,
So
I
you
think
should
diversity.
be-
I mean, a lot of players just care about diversity. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody wants to be different. Everybody wants to be unique. Nobody wants to be the same. So why lock that behind a paywall? I mean, I understand that it makes money, but it doesn't need to be all behind the paywall.
But then it's not only behind the paywall; it's behind RNG as well, which is kind of ridiculous. So,
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of strayed from our original topic, which was, I think we're supposed to be talking about the differences between
Yeah,
all the
we
different
kinda
versions.
jumped to the cash shop, so I don't know. I think we should just continue with the
Okay,
cash shop
alright.
topic if we're at it anyway.
Well then, yeah. Okay, so for the cash shop, we know that a lot of the players from the Western audience isn't happy with the current Korean version, the current Korean cash shop. But we also know that the Korean version isn't aimed at us. And what the fuck? This boss is literally just comboed me to death on the floor. But yeah, we're not okay with the current Korean version of the cash shop of the game. So what do you think that NA could possibly do different?
Oh, kind of like in the
There's
beginning
a
of
lot
Korea.
things.
Yeah. I mean, I know they stated that they're doing their market of cash shop different according to their own market, but I think that was kind of a false statement, or just something they just said to,
PR.
you know, throw our worries away, because
Hmm.
you know I'm currently playing Black Desert and RU right now. I look at the cash shop; it's exactly the same, and it gets a little bit worse. They split up the value package into two separate value package. In Korea, you paid, you know, what, like 20 something bucks for the value package, and you get all of it. You get the increase to XP, life experience, you know, extra weight on your character. You can change your appearance of your character at any time for all those 30 days, and etc. But in the Russian version, they split up the cosmetic portions and portions of the value package from the XP portion of the value package. So hence, you're gonna have to spend more money to get the value package that was offered as one combo deal in the Korean version.
Wait, so basically,
But do you think it could
have to
also
buy
be?
3 packages.
Well, no, it's only two. It's only two. But do you think it could be because of the fact that the RU version's conversion rate for the prices is different? Like, do you think that buying the two packs is equivalent to buying the one pack in Korea?
Let me check real quick.
That's actually a pretty valid point. Could be.
Let's see.
But this
So-
one, for example... Go on, sorry.
So the value package with both the value packages, it's 700 rubles or 700 pearls. It's a 1-to-1 ratio in Russia, so 1 pearl equals 1 ruble. 700 rubles equivalent to 11.4 USD right now. So yeah, you're right. It's actually cheaper.
Okay.
In Russia because of the conversion in their currency. So essentially, it's a lot cheaper than the
Like
Korean
you're saying,
version, right?
you're saying just
That's
buying
the-
half. You're just saying just buying one pack is equivalent to buying half of the Korean pack.
Correct.
Or okay.
Actually, buying the 700 ruble pack, which is, you know, both value packages combined, it's you know, not even 12 bucks according to buying the full value package in Korea. It will convert to about $22, I believe.
Got it. Got it.
So yeah, I guess that is definitely correct. They were just
Woo.
So, while we're at the value pack, the Russian version got changed a little bit, if I remember correctly, right? With the value pack on the Russian version, you also wash off karma faster.
Yes. Or no, not with the value package. No. Do you? I don't think I read that anywhere.
I mean, just the fact that you would get more XP per mob essentially could, but I don't have the value package, so I can't even test that theory. But looking
You don't?
at the
You got it from the early
translation-
access thing. Holy shit.
Oh, we did?
Oh fuck. Yeah. You should have gotten one, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I see, combat technology, life, experience 30%, experience required 100%. Luck step 1. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do have the part 1 for it.
And then I believe the part 2 is just extra weight. Ability to use the beauty shop or whatever to concentrate your character, and the extra inventory slots.
Gotcha.
I believe that's the
Everyone
part
loves
2
slots.
has. Yeah, everybody loves slots. Holy god! No, I'm sorry. Okay, I almost got wrecked by the tree boss over here. Anyway, we were talking about cash shop, right? So, since we know that
Needs
the
to change.
yeah, what needs to change is we can't have too many. Well, first of all, the number one elephant in the room is the fact that people can sell things on the auction house after they buy it from the cash shop. That needs to not happen at all in the NA/EU release. I feel like a lot of the community feels the same way, and I just fucking died.
Yeah, I mean, after this point of trying and getting their hands on Arcade, people are scared to pay to win because, from what I heard, the US version was very, very pay to win.
Yeah.
Not only pay to win, but also just a lot of RNG boxes or chests.
Just
and
handled
stuff, from what I
poorly in
heard.
general.
So,
Just handled very poorly. Great game, handled
And,
poorly. And I
and in
did.
the
I
start. Sorry.
go ahead.
No, and in the start of Korea, if you remember, you couldn't sell cash shop stuff on the auction
wake
house,
up.
as well as there were no value packages. So,
Mm.
everything cosmetic was purely just for you and yourself, and that's it. And there were no cats or pets or anything back in the day as well. So,
Right, right.
Well, I'm kind of split on that. You know, in just as an example again, in Terra it actually worked pretty well. People selling of customs, but it depends on the game's economy.
Hey, wake up.
And right now, the economy on the game itself, at least for the Korean Black Desert, is not player driven. Every single item has been valued and priced according what the developers feel is right, and it's always adjusted to the constant inflating silver prices. I mean, I remember the prices, they were actually pretty fair at first when you could sell the customs, right? It was about 14 million for a whole custom or something like that. I mean, yeah, it took you about 6 to 8 hours depending on class and gear to farm that, but it was a fair amount of time and it was actually okay. But then they raised the prices of the cash shop items, although not to accommodate for the increasing inflation of the silver, but more because there were lots of complaints apparently on their feedback page that the silver prices are not the same value as the money prices, and that people feel like they should get more out of their money if they sell stuff like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And so they
But
raised prices, right?
mhm.
And the thing is, because the auction house restricts you so much, there's always like a minimum and a maximum price for players who don't know that. The system always adjusts prices for every item, which are given by the developer. So it doesn't matter if you have like 6,000 of the super awesome bunny hood head in the auction house, you will still have to pay, let's say, 40 million for the head alone, even though nobody wants to buy it at this price. And in a normal economical, what's it called?
Yeah, economic. Yeah, that's right.
Situation, the price would go down because the sellers are like, yeah, okay, there is no one that who wants to buy it for 40 million, so
User
I'll go
joined your
down
channel.
by 2 million and people might buy it,
Mm.
right? But this does not happen because the auction house is restricted like that. In Terra that happened all the time. Lots of people were trying to pay to win, but they couldn't properly simply because the prices, they were dumped. Everybody was trying to undercut the other selling just to get rid of their items.
Mhm.
This does not happen in Black Desert.
But the thing is,
However, at the current state, I do agree that it's kind of unbalanced selling those customs.
yeah, because like I mean, you could tell because you currently play the Korean version. Even if it worked in Terra, it currently isn't working very well in BDO. Just because
No, it
of
doesn't.
yeah, just because of how much power each piece of gear can give you.
Well, yeah, that's with the inherent flaw of your typical Korean power creep on gear stats. Simply, if you don't have, like, let's say a plus 18 or plus 19 weapon,
Mhm.
you can just not farm fast enough as people who have this kind of gear. I
Yeah,
read a lot
exactly.
of posts of people saying, oh yeah, I can totally farm 7 to 10 millions an hour. Well, yeah, that's great, because you have a plus 18 weapon and a plus 17 sub weapon, for example, which boost your stats really a lot compared to, for example, where RNGesus just doesn't praise me, where I'm still at plus 16, and I'm glad if I can pull like 3.5 to 4 million an hour. Of course, there is this one day with super amazing drops of everything, and I can pull 8 million an hour, but that happens one time a month.
Mm-hmm.
And compared to what people can get out of the customs if they sell it, like custom right now is, what is it, 56 million or something like that. And considering most players are also playing in the Korean PC Bang, they don't lose as much money as other people selling those kind of things. It's to the buff for the, what's it called, auction house tax, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
only have like 25%. So they get a fair amount of money out of that sword custom, while other people, they have to grind like quite a lot of time. I mean, let's say 40 million, and you're at an average gear of plus 15, plus 16. That's still about 8 to 10 hours depending on drops.
Right.
And so people with jobs and families and lives, I suppose, they just can't commit.
Won't be
that
able to keep
much
up. Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Exactly, and that's where the point happens. They're like, okay, then I'd rather spend $60 and sell the costume and be done with it in 5 minutes. Which
Right.
circumvents basically the whole thing of actually playing the game. It's just swipe the card.
It's playing. It's playing. It's playing the cash shop instead of playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there needs to be a better system. Tradable, okay, but make the auction house not restricted. See how that works out. I mean, that's where betas are for. Why
right.
not test this, right?
Right. Right.
To see how economy would actually function without the auction house restrictions.
Right.
Or just, as you said, straight up say, okay, it's everything bound as soon as you buy it on the cash shop.
But there's other thing. This actually leads back to the thing that we were making earlier. Why not also make some of this stuff obtainable in a game through really, really long, extraneous quest lines, maybe, and then, for convenience sake, if you wanted to, you could simply just spend money and buy it.
Well, isn't the Russian pay-to-play server supposed to allow you to buy the customs with silver?
Yeah, apparently from the shop.
From what I heard, it's like the old CBT2 tested Korea.
Exactly, because basically all the PC bang,
silver,
all the PC bang NPCs.
Functions.
Yeah, all the PC bang NPCs, you could just go straight over there and start buying any of the stuff that was going to be on the cash shop straight from the NPC. And if...
Well, yeah, go on, sorry.
No, go ahead. That's pretty much done.
Well, I think that actually sounds like a good idea. Being able to get with silver from in-game, right? But there's other things considered. I'm not sure, most of our Western players, when we talk to them about the cash shop, is, yeah, the custom have stats. That's like the first feedback we hear from a lot of our guild members and other guilds is like, West, that's a no-go. Stats on customs behind a paywall is absolutely nothing we want.
Yeah.
Looking at those stats, they're quite minor, but they still do affect certain things. For example, I don't think that the stats where you lose 10% less durability on your weapon, that doesn't sound to me like it breaks the game. However, the stat that boosts your XP gained from every single mob killed actually breaks the game, because this game has no level cap, and that means the higher level you are, the more base stats you get out of it. And we can see it now in Korea. There's a lot of level 60 players now, but they all either swiped the card or grinded their
Swiped
asses
the
off
card
to buy certain things. I mean, for our shop, what I don't want to see is like the 50% more XP gained for 24 hours book. That needs to go. Like, seriously.
That's a lot of experience.
That's
and then
a
you can
lot.
stack it with the what was it? 30-40% experience from the
Then the
premium
gems.
buff.
With your custom
Then the
buff,
gems, then the
food
costume,
buff, with
food
gems.
buff, elixir buff.
And that's, again, that's inherent flaw with a lot of Korean games. They just like to stack buffs upon buff upon buff.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly, when Reckless was talking about Lineage 2,
Yeah, Lineage 2 isn't that game all about buffs, Reckless?
it was all
yes.
about buffs, right?
It was
you
completely
stacked
buff dependent.
literally everything, and for me, coming from a rating perspective of World of Warcraft since vanilla, it was the same. You stacked all the consumables you could get if you wanted to go for progress kills, and then you stacked world buffs, you know, kill that boss, activate this buff, then activate this buff, and then you have like 1 hour time. So you either make it in an hour or try it next week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, at least all those XP buffs, in my opinion, if they're really minor, like 5%, okay, whatever, just don't make them stackable.
Yes, exactly.
Cap it at, let's say, 20%, so you're like, okay, I don't custom, so I don't get those 20%, but I can get 8% from the super awesome chocolate milk, then I can get 10% from the helmet, then I'm almost at 20% and maxed or capped. So it doesn't matter if you have a custom or just put it with in-game means.
Yeah, yeah.
Which would balance out that.
That actually sounds like a really neat
I
idea.
suppose.
User in your channel timed out.
And there's lots of other things on the cash shop. I don't know, what items would you say shouldn't be in our cash shop?
Mm,
Full skill resets cannot be on the cash shop or behind a paywall.
I think it can be in the cash shop, just not only on the cash shop.
Yeah, not only on the cash shop. It's completely unacceptable. Especially, this game, when we first played, it's very much about properly handling your SP in the very beginning.
Right.
If that could literally make or break your character to the point where you would have to re-roll. And I'm getting PK'd.
Oh shit, oh
You
shit.
continue.
So what Reckless is trying to say is, it's all about your skill points. And
This
back
game,
when we
yeah,
started-
largely dependent on skill points, right?
Right. So we didn't know what we were doing. So you would think twice, thrice, or quadruple times over any kind of skill. And then you have players telling you, yeah, just skill every skill at least the lowest rank. So you can figure it out.
Which during the beginning wasn't bad advice, because no one knew what they're doing.
Exactly. But after that initial playing, you were like, okay, yes, nice. I skilled like 8 skills that are totally useless to my playstyle. And that still amounts up to a certain amount of skill points. I mean, 8 skills, let's say the first tiers, they always cost like 3 skill points. That's still quite amount of skill points which you could spend on one higher tiered skill that favors your playstyle. But because you have it on your first tiers, you now need to regrind those skill points, which takes time.
Right.
And at a certain point, I think it was 800 or 900 skill points, the amount of XP for skill points you gain drops dramatically. So it takes even longer.
I survived. So yeah. Maybe describe a little bit of how you're capped at skill points, where it hits that wall at 50 when you collect like 500 something skill points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The XP rate for skill points just skyrockets then. I mean, needed, of course.
So yeah, I just don't think it should be the only option is through a paywall, just because how important it is. That it'll, if you skill improperly, you'll do poorly in PvP, you'll do poorly in PvE, and your character will just ultimately kind of be broken.
Be pretty useless.
It'll just be a horrible experience.
Yeah, and the thing is, then you decide to re-level it, right? And right now, the Western community is kind of split. They don't really know what kind of leveling experience they want. First, there was a lot of complaints in Korea about, yeah, leveling is too fast. Now, a lot of people on the Russian version, which was community driven for certain changes, they agreed that the leveling process should be slower. Now, consider this. You leveled your character. It took you... They said it takes about 350 hours to get level 50 on the Russian version. Of course,
nah.
that is if
Oh.
you don't have any experience at the game.
True.
But now, let's say you make it in about 200 hours, which sounds like a certain fair amount of time, considering it's your first character. But you screwed up the whole skill build, and now you have to do those 200 hours all over again, because it's actually faster than regrinding those points because you
Yeah.
have the cap. That's kind of very annoying. But my question would be, how would you implement the full skill reset in game without it being like, yeah, I can reskill 6 times a day?
So kind of like what we were discussing before, where we could put like once a week, you could get a quest that revolved around maybe doing it with a party or your friends, and it was a fairly long quest where it wasn't just like go here, kill this one mob, and boom, you're done. But maybe something that was more interactive that drove you and your friends to, hey, let's try a different build this time, see what happens. So, like, say once a week you would get a quest, you do the quest, you get a full skill reset, and you get to test that new build for that whole week to see, did it help? Am I doing better in PvP? Am I doing better in PvE? And then maybe say you get impatient during that week and you can't wait for the week to be done to get the quest. Boom, you spend what, $3-4 to get a quick skill reset, and then that would make it just more fair, and it would make sense because you do have a way to get it through the game and not behind the paywall, but it requires maybe a little bit of patience, and maybe you screw up but then say, hey, next week it'll be better. So something like that could be implemented easily, or kind of like what they did in World of Warcraft, as you were saying, that they had a talent guy you can go to respect, but the more SP you had to respect to get back, the more money you paid in-game currency to actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like you don't even have to actually, let's say, pay with money, considering you have, let's call it labor points. A lot of people will hate me for this, because if you hear Arcade and labor points, most people are like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. But in Black Desert it's very different, so it would actually be, I suppose, fairly balanced. It just costs you energy, and if you want to go like a full reset, you pay your full energy bar that you have.
Okay.
And if you want to reset just certain skills, you pay with energy for it, right? And considering you regenerate, what is it? I think 1 energy every 3 minutes?
Yeah, every 3 minutes, yeah.
Or 3 energy every 1 minute, something like that.
I think it's one energy every 3 minutes, I believe.
Yeah. So, you can still reset your build, but you can't just say, okay, yeah, that's not it, and just redo it all over again.
Right.
So you have to basically wait till you get your energy back. Which also kind of makes sense. So even players that have, like, let's say, maxed out their energy, they still pay the same amount for a full reset who don't have the same amount of energy. So it would be actually kind of fair,
I like that
It
system.
just costs you the full bar for a full reset.
I think that's a neat idea.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Or what you could also do, like you said, in a quest, for example, world bosses could drop a reset, just as an example, to make them more interesting for people.
Yeah, I
Or-
like even bosses or something like some world bosses can drop skill sets. Reason to fight over a boss, reason to go over it. I don't know, just so
For
many
example, right,
different ways they can take that.
The daily boss doesn't even have to like drop a full reset. For example, it could just drop a reset skill line.
Yeah.
just as an example, or you make like, let's say, guild quests, you know, where you actually, like Reckless said, it's group content, people get together, and you get a skill reset.
You get a reward for it, yeah.
And getting PK'd again. What the?
where you can PK at?
She's mine.
Oh gosh.
Damn tamer.
Oh, it's a tamer. It's a tamer. Kill it. Anyway, well, let's move on to talking about
Are you
group content.
sure?
Well, what else do you think we should talk about in the cash shop?
Well, personally, just my opinion, there's other items that need to go, like the
User joined your
instant
channel.
instant revive at the spot.
Why do you feel against that? Just wondering.
Well, the thing is, okay, you could say everything would be balanced as long as you can get it in-game. Then it would be fine, I suppose. But if it's just paying, and let's say we get a more lenient karma system like Russia does, people could just actually start grieving, which is something that the PvP community actually really likes, apparently.
What's that?
Grieving other people. as
Oh,
in
grieving.
swamp
Okay, okay.
camping and stuff like that.
Okay.
And let's say you finally are able to kill him and he just stands up. And you kill him and he stands up and he stands up and he doesn't get any XP loss. It's
Well,
kind of
you
lame.
still get the EXP loss, and you also only rev with like 10% of your HP.
Well, yeah, okay, but then let's say, can you pot instantly after it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
as
can.
soon as you, well, see,
Okay,
that is a
block
problem.
this, then it would make for more balance, I suppose.
It can be a huge issue, especially for, we're thinking in terms of just like little scale PvP, but where the game really falls on the main PvP is sieges and node wars.
That's true.
If say one guild is backed up with a lot of real life cash and they're just throwing thousands of dollars at the game a day, think of how broken that would be if they could instant res on siege zones where they make you go all the way back to town and run very far to get back to the fight. That could break the game right there.
Well, yeah,
Everything's
that's
Right.
just
actually
instant
true.
spawn.
I
So
mean, if
that
your
has
whole
to be
front line can just
Yeah.
stand up and be like, yeah, whatever, no biggie.
exactly.
That
So
kinda makes sense.
they can't have that, or they would have to restrict it to merely only open world besides siege zones and when in siege zone or node war, it's deactivated because that would be game breaking.
Right.
Then you're really battling a wallet opposed to
Someone's saying that
players.
instant revive doesn't work in sieges or node wars on the KR version. Okay, well then that's
Oh,
actually
okay,
really good
sure.
news.
All right, that's
Actually,
good.
did not know that. But it does make sense though. That does make sense actually. Now that I think about it, I do remember not being able to actually click that button during sieges.
Was it always like that, or is this something they just like patched in eventually?
I think. Well, I don't know, because I remember
If
just
I remember.
one point I tried to click it and it just wouldn't work. So
Yeah, but it's still it could still be game breaking. Say you're fighting over a world boss and you're trying to cut out your enemies from actually getting hits and getting the drops, right?
Right.
If they could just hit the boss a couple times, lay dead on the floor, and right before it dies, gets back up and they get the drop. Like, then all your work just went out the window.
yeah, I could see horrible situations rising from something like that. Just overall, it's a really gimmicky item to actually include in a cash shop.
Well, it has a lot of those things. For example, I like that you're able to buy, maximum weight and back slots. I don't actually even mind the back slot item, but the weight. Since this game is all about the grind, and the grind is actually pretty damn real, if you can carry 800 LT compared to someone with
Yeah,
480
yeah, you're just
LT,
overall hauling in more
You-
money.
Your
you're
maximum
hauling
profit per
so
hour
much
is
more
ridiculous.
profit per money. And I think you could implement this really well into the game as well again. I mean, we have so many mini games where you have to shove around cards or bring this item to that NPC, where you're actually like you have the whole barrel of wine on your shoulder, bring it through Calphion, if you remember that.
Yeah, I
quest.
remember that quest. Yeah.
Just reward it with LT. Why not? Okay, it would take longer as someone who just instantly buys the whole LT thing, but it's still in game, and therefore nobody can say, yeah, you have a disadvantage. The disadvantage would only be that you're too lazy not doing those kind of quests. Just
Okay,
as an
so
idea.
Valdir brought up a good point. He brought up he thinks that instant revive just shouldn't be available if you're killed by another player, which is actually quite a good idea.
That's a very
That actually makes a lot of sense.
I'd say that would also balance the item a lot.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier, but yeah, that would actually be a great idea. It just shouldn't be usable while killed from another player.
And for back slots, as another example, coming from World of Warcraft, you have a certain amount of back slots, but there was a profession for sewing, right? Or tailoring was it called? And the tailors, they could tailor bigger bags with more slots. And you
I remember that,
equipped
yeah.
them and you got more slot. So you could just bring in something like that. It would take a lot of, let's say, materials.
Yeah.
Maybe even boss drops or something like that, but it's still available in the game.
It's again going back to that point of they're locking away things in the cash shop that could be content for the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at. It's just, it would entice to actually play the game and not play the cash shop. I mean, I've read some posts today on Reddit where this one guy was like, yeah, I dropped about 8k into the Korean version, then I started the Russian version, and in the first 2 hours I already dropped $300, you know, for the cats and the trees and the bag slots and stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool and all, but how much did you see from the game? Besides being an hour in the cash shop figuring out which kind of item gives you the most bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Right.
Because to me, that's not really content.
Yeah, because like a lot of stuff in games, even if it was through a paved wall, it was something that you could get eventually in game when you spent enough time. But that added extra weight, I mean, you're never going to see it from carrying a backpack around. You're only looking at what, maybe an increase of 100 LT?
Yeah, I mean, let's say you tailor a bag with this new system, if we would get something like that. The bag would just say, yeah, you get 20 more LT, and 20 more LT, that's a lot of trash items actually. Considering most sellable trash items are 0.3 LT, if I remember right. That's quite a bit of something, you know. Of course, it's not one piece of gear which equals to, what was it, 15 to 30 LT, depending on the slot.
Yeah.
But it also prevents people from just getting full maxed out stats in the first 2 days.
Yeah.
So it gives every player an incentive and some goals.
And for the viewers that don't understand the trash items, a lot of making money in Black Desert is literally picking up some items that are worth a decent amount, selling just to vendors, and then you just sell them, and that's a good amount of money. And then there's objects or items that are turn-in values of certain stacks of, like, say, 50
Give you tons
to
of money.
100.
You get like 20%
That give you
more.
tons and tons of money.
Yeah.
So a lot of your money comes from quest item drops as well as trash item drops.
And Poet says he thought the Russian version was going to be less grindy. That wasn't stated. It was actually quite the opposite was stated. The Russian version was supposed to take longer to level. So overall, more grindy.
Well, they wished for a more hardcore experience, and apparently hardcore means grind and not actually challenge.
But what else is on the cash shop that needs to be addressed? We went over weight, skill resets. Let me just look at the cash shop right here.
I think bank slot expansions, they are fine. Since
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with that.
You can just quest your what is it, contribution points, and buy houses to get
Right.
bank slots. So
That's something that's
that is
achievable in game.
totally fair
Yeah,
to
that
me.
is.
That
I see that as something that's perfectly achievable in game.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Huh, what else is there? Well, the loot pets. So
Pets, yes, about those pets. They
that's
weren't
actually quite a good thing.
in the closed betas. They weren't something that was locked away at the cash shop, obviously, because there was no cash shop before.
I
So
remember there was
yeah.
a quest, right?
yeah, at first you would actually get them through a quest, all the pets through a quest, and you even got the food and everything through quests. When they first released pets, I didn't think that much of it. Like, okay, so they can pick up items, whatever. They normally everybody's only running around with ever one pet, so it didn't matter that much to me. But once people started going around with more than it was an update. It was an update that they had that allowed them to summon more than one pet at a time. And after that, that's when you started noticing a huge advantage over players who actually had pets compared to players who didn't. Just because it just increased your farm time. You're able to kill monsters non-stop while your pets just picked everything up for you.
Well,
I
there's
mean-
also the thing, it felt like the mobs, they despawn way too fast. So you actually feel like you need a pet to loot everything that
Yeah.
you kill. You always felt like you're losing out on drops or on loot because the mobs, they despawn so fast, sometimes respawn so fast that you're not able to loot because you need to fight again. And
Right.
it really makes quite a difference. I remember going from 2 pets to 3 pets, and since then I actually have never felt like I need to pick up anything.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
pets, it was still like, yeah, they're on cooldown, there is 3-4 mobs I need to loot. It's kind of annoying because I could kill like another 10 mobs in that time, but whatever. But
Right.
you really feel those pets. What I dislike about the pets is more like there's multiple tiers for it, right?
Right.
And they're behind RNG again.
It,
So
this game has a lot of RNG involved. More
well,
so
it's
than
true
I'd
to its
like.
Korean core, right?
Right.
But I don't know, the pets, the tiers. If the tiers would just drop the loot cooldown, it would actually be quite okay, I'd say. I just don't really like that the pets also give you
Experience
another
buffs.
kind of buffs, which
Yeah.
is SP buffs for more SP experience, or again 15% more leveling experience, I think it is, and so on. So if the buffs would go from the pets and the RNG, I don't know, it's just pay, what do you pay? It's like $8 a pet, right?
Right. Or at least on
And
the.
you need, yeah, on the Korean version.
Yeah.
And you need 2 pets, and for the players who don't know, you need to actually fuse those pets. Or you could call it
Breeding the pets, yeah.
about it.
But you're
But,
somehow smashing them together and deleting both of them
and
to get a new
then-
one.
Right, and then RNG decides if you get a higher tier. So let's say you spend $16 on 2 cats and you still get a tier 1 cat. And it gives you the buff for 2% of life XP. Was that really worth the $16? Not really. So I'm not quite sure. If it would be like guaranteed that you have like 2 tier 1s getting guaranteed to tier 2, okay, fine. That, at least to a certain amount, would balance it out. Otherwise, it's just too much of rolling dices.
Right.
A lot of things in the game. What
Well,
else is there about pets?
I mean, we just went over
don't know.
pretty much the main things about pets, which is the pickup and the buffs.
Yeah,
Uh,
I suppose.
I mean, what they could maybe change for our version and AEU is I have a couple suggestions. Either change it so that you can only have one pet at a time, but people are not going to want to spam R that much. I mean, we all know how players are. Everybody's lazy. They don't want
Or
to
just
put in more
reduce the
effort.
cooldown of one pet,
Yeah, so you could just reduce the cooldown of one pet to the point where, you're able to pick up as much as maybe you had 3 pets. If you did that, you could maybe... If you're going to keep the buffs, the pet has to be obtainable in-game, in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
not just through a paywall.
I mean, there could be an easy kind of quest, like in the closed beta, where you have like children searching for their pet or something like that.
Mhm.
You have to rescue the cat from the tree because you're a fireman, right? Firefighter. Get the cat down from the tree. And the kid is like, yeah, that's awesome. And finally, and a week later, you get mail from the NPC saying, hey, thanks for rescuing my cat. We got kittens, we send you one, for example. I
Yeah.
don't know, something
Yeah,
silly
yeah.
like that. Just, I don't know, it would kind of give some immersion to it to actually acquire a cat.
I agree.
Or of course, you could play same mini game like with the horse, catch the cat
Catch the cat with a rope.
with catnip, with the catnip, and
Oh
then
my God.
you tame
Why doesn't
it.
my cat pick up? Dude, I think you fed too many cat
Cat's all freaking out over the floor.
I remember there were certain complaints about pets breaking the immersion. Personally, in my opinion, not really. But there were a lot of people stating their opinion that it's just silly that you stand in a city, there's 20 people with 3 pets, there's 60
Yeah.
cats.
Yeah. I mean, when you see everybody with 3 pets following around, it kind of does, in my opinion. If it's one pet, not so much. Not so much. But,
Here's the thing though, Kinto. In the recent updates on
yeah,
Chrome,
they added
there's
an option.
for the
Yeah.
pets.
Yeah,
So you
it's
could
in
actually
RU as
just
well.
say, I just want to see my cat, or I don't want to see any pets. And
Right.
therefore, I think that's okay. As long as you have an option to turn it off, there's no big deal about that.
Right,
It
right.
doesn't break your immersion. I mean, you tick the checkbox and your immersion is right back there.
That is very true.
But anything else on the cash shop? I don't know. The value package, well, it's like a subscription, so not quite sure. Depends on the price. Should be properly priced for our market though. $20 is actually quite a lot for our economy on the West. Compared to, you know, I think World of Warcraft is $13 and Final Fantasy XIV is like $12 or something monthly subscription. So $20 would be quite a lot to drop.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you think there's any kind of other items in the shop that break the game?
Let me see.
Alright, I'm back, guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Those were, the main ones.
What topic are
I
we on now?
suppose.
Talking about stuff in the cash shop that may be an issue for NA/EU.
Yeah, let me look through it. Did we miss anything?
Well, here's the question. What do you think about... There's this scroll that lets you transfer your weapon stats to another weapon, as in the enchantment level and
That-
actually the stats.
That's
What? What?
the transfers and enchantment. Like, let's say you wanted to switch from like a Yuria longsword to a Yuria katana. It would basically destroy your Yuria sword and give you the Yuria katana.
Oh. But this isn't. It doesn't apply to Zakas and stuff, or is
Well,
only.
it does. It just transfers your enchantment level to it.
So it just keeps the Zaka, but it changes it from one Zaka to another Zaka, and then, like, say you re-rolled from a Sork, so you went from a Zaka plus 18 amulet, so you want to re-roll to a Blader, so it transfers
Yes.
all that to a Zaka Katana 18.
Exactly.
I mean,
yes.
as long as they made it so you could not sell it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Well,
account
you
bound.
can't
Once you
sell
use
it right now, so...
Gotcha. I did not know that. Like, that's huge. But I mean,
Yeah,
in
I
terms
think
of
it came
re-rolling,
about a month ago.
I think in terms of re-rolling and keeping the game alive and keeping players say, "Hey, I'm bored of this class. I want to try out this one, and then they like it, and they're like, well, I don't have to do all that grind for that weapon again because it's ridiculous. I think that is fairly cool thing, but through only a paywall once again, it's kind of like that's you're playing the cash shop instead
Yeah,
of playing the game.
yeah. A lot of stuff behind the
But I
paywall.
have to say about this, remember, have you ever seen any MMO that allows you to pay and change the class? I mean, I see always the question, can I buy a class change? And I have like never seen one of the big mainstream MMOs offering something like that. Me, this scroll isn't really a class change. You still have to level the class. You still have to learn the class. All you do is basically, like Hindu said, yeah, I'm bored of Wizard. I want to play the Ninja. So you just basically pay a certain amount of money to get that grind you already did to another class. So, to me, not really a problem actually.
No, that does make sense. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're wanting a reroll and they're giving you the option to pay, and it's a decent price. No, I think that's fair because it's not game breaking or anything.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. I mean, they have
the
the
only
same
thing it
kind
would
of
do, it would promote like flavor of the month kind of things for new
Yeah.
classes. But then again, people are doing that anyway because at that point in time, they have so much stuff saved up that they can break down things or just have a collection of weapon stones that they just buy the new weapon and then plus it up anyway. So it's not really slowing it. It's not really changing anything. It's just increasing the speed of it and increasing longevity of that player keeping staying within the game and playing. So no, I think that's cool because I mean Terra. Let's look at it like this. I played Terra, and they offered a class or not a class change, but a race change. And in that game, certain classes or certain races were quicker or faster or better for PvP. Just maybe a little slightly faster or longer reach, but it still was something big. Like I was playing a Slayer and I was a light elf or high elf.
Oh, so you AFK for a second.
Sorry.
Oh.
I was playing a light elf Slayer, and they were said to be the worst race for the PvP because their animations
Oh,
were just
Pile
slower
Slayer?
than other. Yeah,
That was me too.
yeah, and I got made fun of, but everyone either played at Elin because they had longer reach and faster animation time, or they played a female Kastanic. And I couldn't do the Elin, so they give you their ability to buy a race changer. It didn't change your class, but it definitely was different. Like I could link different combos together faster.
Right.
Well, race change is actually fairly normal on any kind of MMO cash shop these days.
Gotcha.
So that's a fair item, so-called, to be sold. I think that's not really an issue. It's more like, at least in those kind of games, if you spend, let's say, $300 on casual customs, they are usually bound to a certain race, and if you do the race change, those customs were gone. However, I do know on an A-Terra, for example, if you got the right representative from the GM team, they would actually change your customs to the new race, because they just had really great customer support. That changed, although, if I remember right. But on EU, you basically were screwed. I know a lot of people, they dropped like $4,000 in customs. The race changed and the support is like, yeah, thanks for the money, bye. Or rather, buy them again for your new race.
Alright.
But
Well,
yeah, so you have that scroll for the weapon, and you have the scroll for professional experience. So if you are like master in fishing, you could also transfer this to your new character. It's just kind of re-rolling made really expensive if you want to transfer like everything.
yeah.
But I mean, you can level the professions anyway, or weapons, so Yeah.
I don't
You
see
can
that
still
problem.
Play the game, right?
But I think that's mostly everything in the cash shop.
I think yeah.
So well,
Tommy's a
Well,
traitor.
wait, what?
Nothing. Continue.
how about let's get over the negative topic first. Let's talk about the flaws of the game. So
Okay.
we all know that potions is a huge problem in this game. Something that Mizu brought up to me recently is that I didn't know about is that you could double pot, and the fact that some potions have different cooldowns.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I said that. There's a 500 HP pot, which are really the biggest ones you can get in the game currently, I believe. They act on a separate cooldown from the normal other pots, which I think the fattest one is right, 275 maybe.
Yeah,
275 HP.
275.
So you can essentially double spam HP pots, essentially getting almost 800 HP.
I want to mention that most people that are getting into endgame gear, they have around 1600 HP or something like that.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's
so.
half of your HP in one double click basically, which can be huge issues in one-to-one PvP.
Valkyrie wants to know, where do you get the 500 HP pot? There's some
They're
vendors.
all normal vendor.
Yeah, there's usually some vendors that sell them. Not every single potion vendor, but some. They're usually high-end potion vendors.
Wait, I thought the 500. Wait, they put the 500 HP pot in vendors now?
Isn't that where you get it from?
The vendors.
I
They're
thought-
all on the potion vendor. They just have, if I remember right, they have two separate icons. So you have like your normal potions with the red bottle. And the
Right.
new potions, they have like golden ornaments on the bottle to differentiate them. That's also the 2-second potion compared to the 3-second normal potion.
I thought the 500 HP pot ones were like the ones people were finding in like chests or barrels, and then like crafting them somehow. Or I don't know exactly. I can get that information real quick, but be right back.
Okay. But anyway,
Disconnected from your
oh, he's
channel.
really let's go get the information. But yeah, so like I was saying, potions seem like they'll be a big problem in every single version of the game. Hopefully that, Ollie, who's our community manager for the EU NA version, hopefully he's relaying the information that a lot of the feedback from the NA community is giving him, and the fact that potions are really breaking the game, especially the early game, especially the 1v1. It's not such a big deal during sieges, but I mean, if you're counting all of this game's balance for the sieges that only happen once during a weekend.
Twice actually.
Twice.
No, I think twice. You have, if I remember what Lycoris said correctly, is you have one siege war, which is like the weekend, right?
And then Node
Then
War
you have
Wednesdays and
two
Thursdays.
node
Wednesdays and
wars
Sundays,
at
sorry.
the week.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are the same system, it's just you fight over a node instead of a castle.
Yeah.
And, well, the potions don't seem to be a problem in really big group PvP, as in you have enough DPS on one guy to counter DPS, simply the potions. But in a one-on-one scenario or even one-on-two scenario, those potions, they can really break the duel that you're having right now.
Right.
And the thing is, I mean, for PvE it's the same. It's just, at least to me right now, the PvE isn't really challenging. So you start to get cocky. And then you start to pull one group of mobs, two group of mobs. Then they change that fairly early in Opta, that you cannot pull more than 8 mobs.
Mhm.
But because it's so easy and you get to a new spot and the mobs suddenly turn out to be quite a challenge, the first thing my brain told me was like, yeah, it's fine, just spam the potion.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
actually works because
yeah.
every quest is like, here, take 30 potions. Here,
Exactly.
take
They're just
20
handing you
potions.
potions just to
And you're like,
tell you
what
to
the
just
hell
use
is
these.
going on? Why do I get 30 potions for a quest? You get your head smashed and you're just like, yeah, chuck, 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 chuck. Um, I mean, I'm not a Diablo player, but I was
Just
told that Diablo is just chuck potions for the win and call it a day. And that to me is just very boring because I don't feel like I need my brain. All I need is like a good hotkey for the potion and I'm
right.
good.
And it's completely removing the need for player interaction. You know, parties. Who needs a party when you can just drink potions and not worry about your
That,
HP?
and it completely also circumvents the whole action combat.
Yeah.
I mean, why do I have action combat with active dodging mechanics to physically dodge attacks when I can just say, yeah, okay, I'll just drink that potion and take the hit, whatever. It's faster anyway, because then I don't have to move, you know.
Right.
It's kinda dumb.
I hear the karma system ruined the PvP. Yeah. Basically, if you don't know how the karma system works right now, for example, in the Korean version, whenever you kill somebody, if you turn PK mode, like if I press Alt C, you'll see these glowing swords at the bottom of my UI here, and that means basically if I hit attack in anybody's direction, I'll hit them. In the Korean version, if you hit them, you'll get minus 10k karma off of the plus 300k max, so you'll be down to 290k karma. And then if you were to kill that person, you get another minus 200k karma, bringing you down to 190k karma. So basically, you're only going to be able to kill one person before you're in the negatives. Sorry, not 190k karma, but 90k karma. And the thing about being negative karma is once you're negative karma, you start to have these black stones off of your equipment, which are these. They will start to pop off of your equipment. And because the game is extremely RNG based, it's all about getting luck to get your equipment to go up to these higher enhancement levels. So when you start having your gear go backwards from PvPing, nobody wants to go through with that. So they just decide not to PK at all.
Right.
Especially
Also,
with the harsh...
thing is,
Yeah.
The thing is, if it pops off, you only get back one stone.
Yeah,
But
so you may have
you
spent like
might-
20 stones trying to get the plus 13,
Exactly.
but you're only getting one stone back because of a death. So it's completely not worth it. The punishments are way too harsh compared to the punishments of the person who just died, who you just killed. They lose nothing in the Korean version, whereas you're losing so much for the person who just killed you, or the person who just killed.
Yeah, and there was also a factor, if I remember right, one of the bigger problems about the karma system was if you defend yourself while being negative karma, you still gain more negative
Yeah.
karma. Which, of course, it makes sense because you're murdering people.
But
Should just
here's the
be
thing that
way
doesn't make sense
lower
about that.
amount.
Yeah, but here's the thing that doesn't make sense about that. For the people who don't know, if you're negative on karma, and when you're negative on karma, that means you're permanently flagged. That means everybody sees you as red. And if
Right.
anybody decides to attack you for free, since you're technically flagged, they can kill you without any karma penalties. Whereas if you try to defend yourself, you're going to lose another 200k karma, sending you further into the negatives.
Exactly, and that's what most people don't like, since you can always be attacked, which is the risk of losing enchantments on gear, and before they changed it, you could actually even drop certain things out of your inventory. But the biggest flaw was simply you were trying to wash off that karma, get attacked, you just defend yourself, and you just ruined like 3 hours of grind with another kill just to grind it off in peace,
Yep.
actually. So that it's like extremely retarded.
Exactly. So there is definitely issues with the current karma system. The Russian version, the reason why I'm playing this version right now is because it has a few improvements over the current Korean version on the karma system. For example, in the Russian version, instead of losing 200k karma per kill, you only lose 60k per kill. So because of that, we went ahead and tested out the system all of last night, and we just went around killing people.
All right, sorry, back.
Welcome back. Testing how much karma we were losing. Another difference between the Russian version and the Korean version is the fact that you don't lose any karma at all for flagging on somebody, for hitting them randomly. Whereas in the Korean version, you'd lose 10k karma for doing that. I don't have the others. But that's overall it's a small difference, but a huge improvement.
Which is kind of funny. All they had to do is like what we initially told them, rebalance the numbers, and
Right.
it suddenly seems to work out pretty fine.
Right. All they really need to do is just tweak some numbers, and everything will be much better than how it currently is.
Korea, yeah.
Purple hearts. Oh my god, what are you guys talking about down there? What was we talking about? What were we talking about before we started talking about the PK system?
Well, Reckless was checking out where you get the
Well,
potions, so I think you get those
I'm not going to really go into depth with that. But it is obtainable through one of the type of professions of crafting, and it is in game, and it is indeed really kind of game breaking in a sense. So I don't know what you guys exactly discussed when I was going, and I apologize for that.
Oh no,
No, it's fine. You were just checking facts, so that's okay.
Yeah, I
Valtier
just
says,
wanted
I was saying, Valtier says, I think they should rework the karma system so that the further away you are from Major Town City, the less penalties you get. Also, losing enchants on your gear shouldn't be possible in my opinion. I don't mind penalties, but losing enchants on your gear is too harsh. And yes, Valtier, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
The fact that you can go backwards, you can spend so much time on trying to work on progressing your character, especially how progress heavy this game is. And then for you to try and take advantage of one of the systems that this game offers, and for them to punish you by sending you backwards, I think that's backwards in itself.
That's true. I mean, the only way I think losing enchantments would work is really like if you maxed out karma in negative ways though.
Yeah.
Where you like literally like the badass mofo from the world. People are like, yeah, I'm gonna pay 3 million just some mercenary guild to kill him.
Yeah.
So it would kind of make sense. Just don't like, let's say, you have maxed out negative karma. You can lose enchantments, but you can only lose like 1 or 2 enchant per day. That's still
Right.
a fair amount of punishment because it takes a fair amount of time to refarm that plus. Simply because, well, RNG, you just get 1 stone back and the plus may have cost you 40.
Right.
But yeah, and Reckless, we're currently discussing the flaws of the game.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what we're discussing at the moment.
And another team trying to PK me.
You're always being PK'd over there. Ooh, weapon zone. But yeah, so the karma system. Basically, from what I'm getting from the general consensus of the NA/EU population is nobody's really that happy with the current karma system. They'll be happy with any other system that they can come up with. What do you guys think could be changed for the NA/EU release? Besides what Valtier said, like, do you guys have any ideas that is possible without? Because the thing you have to keep in mind is there are people who don't enjoy PvP at all. It is the truth.
Yeah, like me.
It is the
I'm
truth.
a Care Bear.
So, is there a way that you can possibly make people who enjoy PvP and people who don't enjoy PvP happy?
Well, of course, I think Russia does a good start. I personally believe the numbers might need to be readjusted a little bit more for our version. But from what I've seen and heard, just in terms of the karma system on the Russian version, it seems way more balanced and actually way more fun. I mean, just listening to you two, having more fights.
Oops, I killed somebody. I'm so sorry. Oh god, I'm so sorry. Random archer came walking by and I killed her. Well,
Oh god, you killed an archer.
Whoops.
You so dead, man. You so dead.
No, the ranger deserved it. I don't know who she is, but she deserved it. Anyway.
But yeah, like I said, just readjust the numbers a little bit, and I think it would be actually fine. No dropping in enchantments or items from which you have geared. I think dropping items from inventory could actually be doable, just not like, let's say you drop blackstones, that shouldn't be happening. But let's say you lose about 5 to 10% of certain trash items that you could turn in. That sounds reasonable to me. I mean, that it still needs to give you the feeling that you kind of get punished, just so you think twice about murdering someone.
Right, right. Valthier says channel 1 open PvP with 10 to 25% increase in XP drops, and channel 2, channel 3 Care Bear channels. Yeah, maybe.
That's actually a good point. I remember quite a few discussions about having 2 servers, as in like the so-called hardcore PvP gank box.
Oh god.
And then the super fluffy, awesome, fabulous PvE Care Bear Hello Kitty Island version, apparently. I don't think that's a good idea. Just simply, it splits the player base, and even though personally I'm not big into PvP, I still enjoy the game. So why should I feel like I can't play with other people simply because I want not to be ganked? It's just, to me, it's a feature of the game, and I need to live with this. That's a decision you make. You say, yeah, I want to play this game, and you should be aware that it's more PvP focused.
Right, right. Well, also, I don't want to miss Play Zeta's comment. He said, just joined the stream, but how do you think Black Desert PvE is going to be, or how is it according from your experience? To be entirely honest, no beating around the bush, the PvE is not the greatest. I have played many games that have been far more interesting PvE-wise. But the reason why I played Black Desert and was interested in the game in the first place wasn't because of the PvE. It was more so because of the community-driven experience I was expecting to get. As you can see, I'm kind of like blowing through these monsters, which are supposed to be equivalent to my level. The game isn't supposed to be, at least the current game isn't supposed to be hard for each monster that you're supposed to kill. Like, it's kind of meant for you to kind of blow through waves and waves of monsters, kind of like Dynasty Warriors. And then they reward you with all these shiny loots as you do it. So PvE-wise, if you were expecting to play this game for, you know, awesome PvE content versus, you know, fighting mobs and having fun engaging fights, I don't think you're actually going to find that in this game. But with various activities that you can do in the game, I think you'll find fun in that.
Well, my point of view, coming from being a Care Bear and raiding high-end ranked World of Warcraft and stuff like this, the PvE, to me personally, is just non-existent at all. It's really, really, really bad. So if you expect to have like 5-man dungeons and hard world bosses or elite mobs, I'm sorry to tell you this, but yeah, no. That's currently in the Korean version not happening. The mobs that you level, as Kinto said, just meat bags, and looking at his stream, the Russian version isn't really that much harder either. They just have a bit more HP apparently. The mobs themselves, the AI is horrible, horrible, horrible. It's just, You know,
They
have
kind of just
like
stand
this
there and walk
high
towards you very
five.
slowly.
I
Yeah.
need to walk into your weapon and die. That's the AI system actually. I
Uh-huh.
mean, sometimes you have some mobs they try to flank you, but I don't really think that this is actually the AI themselves. It's just the game and the environment. There's no more space for that one mob to stand in line, so he just tries to get to you from
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
angle. So leveling the mobs, they really are totally brain dead. It's more like some kind of what's it called, Diablo, where you
Mm.
just grind waves of mobs, or like you said, Dynasty Warriors. It's
Mm.
actually really sad. So you get some bosses, especially while you level. Those are the summoned bosses from your Black Spirit. At first in open beta they were quite challenging, especially because when the game started they had a lot of HP, they dealt a lot of damage. I remember we
Yeah.
did those in groups while leveling,
Mm.
but they nerfed them very hard about 4 weeks into open beta or something. And now you, well, I don't know, if you
And then,
are...
in addition to that, it's also the fact that gear in this game makes such a huge difference to the point where it takes away all the challenge as soon as you get a couple enchants on your gear.
Yeah, that's true, but let's discuss that in a minute. So the bosses, while leveling, they are okay, especially if it's your very first character and you start to figure out the game. It's just in terms of mechanics and challenge, they don't really feel challenging, especially compared to the unnerfed BAMs from Terra, which were quite a pain in the ass back then. It's just all the mobs do is a lot of damage. If they hit you, they have a fair amount of HP, and they just chain CC, which is totally boring game design. All you get is like staggers, or knockdowns, or
Mm.
knockbacks.
Mm.
There is nothing really where you're like, yeah, this is a big cleave I need to dodge.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more like, oh, I got staggered and then I get the cleave.
Yeah.
Also, no system that tells you what attack the mob does. I am against those vector-based systems that tell you on the ground, oh, you're standing in shit, you need to dodge.
Yeah.
I think Terra had a fairly balanced system where certain attacks were infographed on the ground, certain attacks didn't. However, Terra had this awesome feature where the mob's eye would actually blink red, so you knew this was a special attack.
Right.
However, you couldn't see the eye as a melee being behind the mob, but there was still an audio cue about it, so you still know what's gonna happen. And this same applies for the daily bosses. They are fairly boring. The world bosses, they are just huge meat bags. No real mechanics to it, sadly. Kazuka, all he does is one big ass one-shot AoE, and you have to dodge behind a pillar. You don't really see when it happens, at least now on the Korean version. But if you see like 40 people running behind the pillar, you know, yeah, you should run behind the pillar.
Right.
That's all to it. The new dragon, can't really comment it, haven't played it. Being
I've
from the videos,
I've done
it's
it.
rather
It's
boring.
yeah. I mean, he has a cool. He has mechanics that could have been much better than they were how they were implemented. Like he has a really cool thing where he summons a bunch of tornadoes and it starts lifting everybody up and pulling everybody into a certain area. But it just feels kind of gimmicky. It doesn't feel like a quality fight. I don't know.
Yeah, it just feels like beating a meatbag with
Yeah.
HP. Play for Zeta asks or says he heard about dungeons and exploration So you have dungeons, but it's not like the dungeons you know from your typical MMO. It's not instanced, it's all open world. However, there is a lot of caves, which you could potentially call a dungeon. There is no boss mobs in there, there is no elite mobs in there. You can explore them, but you have still the same kind of boring mobs. If you were watching the stream before, you've seen Kinto being underground. When we explored that place first time, it felt like, yeah, we found a dungeon. The mobs, they were fairly simply because our gear was lacking quite a bit. But yeah, there is really no challenge. There is no instanced kind of content, no raids, nothing like that at all. In terms of activities and actions, there are some guild bosses, which, well, it's like a guild quest, right, Kinto?
Right,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
quest and the guild has to kill it.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun until you're there and it's just a huge laser show of effects for 5 to 10 to 12 minutes depending how your guild is geared, and that's it. He dies, you get loot, but there is no feeling of, whew, fuck yeah, we killed the boss, only 2 men standing. I don't know, there was really no feeling about it, especially for me. Killed Arthas hard mode, World of Warcraft for example, fairly early in progression, or doing Queen of Argon's part 2
In Terra.
Manaya,
Yeah.
and not well, EU Terra for me, but pre-nerf. Those were bosses, they actually had really good mechanics in terms of enticing teamwork.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is really nothing about this in PvE right now in Black Desert.
Toby77 says, would you say Black Desert lacking some things? Well, like any other game, no game is perfect. Black Desert doesn't make itself perfect either. There's obviously going to be things that's lacking, just like any other game. Again, that's the kind of things we were discussing first, was the thing that's lacking and that we hope gets improved in the near future. For example, all the group content. It doesn't have much of those at the moment. You kind of like the things that we're discussing, like potions. Potions kind of take away a lot of the group content because you can just simply, instead of relying on another player, you can just simply buy your way to victory from another boss encounter or a fight or anything like that with the use of potions. So yes, it is lacking things, but that's kind of what we're hoping is being fixed.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. I mean, group content, it's not really hard to do. It's hard to come up with new mechanics, especially for veteran PvE players who have seen a lot of games. But mostly it's just bring at least some basic mechanics where the group is really enticed to play together and not just circ down the HP bar.
But anyway, reason why I ask these questions is because I played a lot of arcades, there's a lot of community and guild building PvE. Do you think they'll be adding PvE in the future? For sure, this game is constant development, it's just the beginning of the game. So what they have right now, I don't think it will be the end of it. I think they're constantly adding things. Oh, you already answered it? Well then, yeah. So, yes, to be short, I do think that they'll add more PvE elements into the game eventually. We just have to wait for it. Like, just recently in Korea, they at least added a way for parties to make money together by allowing parties to sell items that they get directly from grinding, and it yeah, and it'll distribute it among the party. So I think that was a really neat feature that they added. And apparently, what they announced a few weeks ago is that they're coming out with more party-based content in the northern Valencia area, which is supposed to be releasing soon. So hopefully that adds more of what we're looking for, but we'll have to see for sure.
I mean, they did quite a things to entice group play a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
if you do bosses right now.
Yeah.
You suddenly get more loot if you do it in a group. which feels actually nice.
Yeah.
Since the last few months they were like, oh, the boss, if I do it with more people, okay, I'm done 10 seconds faster, but I don't get anything out of it.
Yeah. So for sure, they've
Yeah.
added more incentive to party with the players since the game first launched. There's for sure been more party elements, but basically what we're saying is they could still add more. There's still room for improvement. So that's what we're kind of pointing out.
Yeah, on an end for this topic, I'd say just look at Terra. At first, they only had 2 dungeons. A lot of people quit because there was nothing to actually do. But they started to pick up pace, and when Queen of Argon came, yeah, the content started to get better. Not like a lot, like for example World of Warcraft, where you get 5 5-man dungeons and 2 raid dungeons. But you got like 2 more 5-man dungeons and 1 really hard 5-man dungeon. And it kept the players fairly busy for a long amount of time.
Right.
So the game is young, there's a lot of things to do.
Yeah, it's not even a year
personally
old yet,
always
so
think in the first 2 years, that's where the game starts to actually form itself to that what it wants to be actually. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that they just need to figure out.
exactly. Zeta also asked, how do you feel about the buy-to-play model? Sorry if you answered the question.
That's
No, we were
actually-
actually about to talk about that as well.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a topic as well.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll just
why
say
not
what
just
I
jump into
feel.
it?
I'll say what I feel personally. For me personally, I absolutely like the buy to play model, but I do have my concerns. For sure, buy to play has always been the thing that I always wish that MMOs would go for instead of free to play or pay to play, because I feel it's like you're buying a game, like a $60 game that you'd buy for if you ever used to play console games, and then you're getting all that content that you're paid for. And normally my expectations with a buy-to-play game is that you're buying everything that you need, and then normally I wouldn't like the idea of a cash shop. But if you compare the buy-to-play model to something like Guild Wars 2, then I would be okay with that. I'm okay with paying a little bit amount of money, you know, here and there for little cosmetic items, or, you know, I want to get this thing a little bit faster, so I'll just get this pay this amount of money so I can get this cosmetic item a little bit faster. Something like that. So to me, buy-to-play model, I like it. But the things I'm concerned about is what will they actually have in the cash shop? Because that's not anything that they have announced yet. Or have they've talked about it anywhere. So that's what has me a little bit worried. Because if we're paying for the game, but we're still getting virtually the same game as KR, for example, or RU with the same things in the cash shop, then I feel like that would be a very unwise business choice.
Bad decision. So, where did Reckless go?
I don't know. Reckless like disappeared. He's probably doing something. But I'm sure he had some thoughts on that. But what are your thoughts, Mizu? What do you think about buy to play?
Huh. Well, I always paid for my MMOs, even if they were free to play and had a subscription model.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the subscription model was actually always the best kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Free to play always just showed me that at a certain point the publisher or company starts to get either lazy or greedy.
Okay.
I'm back again.
Welcome back.
what did I miss?
We're talking about the buy to play model and thoughts on how you feel about it.
Yeah, I think Reckless should go on. He was too silent for too long.
Yeah, it's your turn to talk, Reckless. It's your turn.
And I could actually finish my sandwich.
But how? That's pizza.
Oh my god, you guys are both eating?
I mean, okay, so we saw the rise of, you know, the Russian market, which was supposedly, you know, they were going to have a free to play and they were going to have a pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think a pay to play server, like a subscription base, where you automatically have that premium buff or whatever for that month, would be great, and I would gladly dish out as long as all those hurdles we were talking about, like a paywall, all those things would be fixed because then they could just put those paywall items in game through obtainable by in-game currency, which is something they were talking about with the Russian version anyway, with the pay to play version, meaning it would fix a lot of the issues we stated tonight about the game being
Right.
fixed, or it would be countered with in-game stuff, activities, opposed to a paywall. The buy to play doesn't necessarily say, oh, it's going to fix these things, because essentially what they could do is a buy to play and then say, oh, well, if you want access, it's $150 access to get into the early alpha, as they did with Arcade, and then keep the current cash shop in the game still and have all the stuff still sellable on the auction house, and it would be the worst outcome of all our worries, you know?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I completely understand that, and I really hope that doesn't happen. But I feel like most game developers have seen Arcade as an example, and they know not to repeat that, maybe? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I feel like after you see what the community has thought of Arcade, you'd expect, you don't want to follow in those footsteps.
Gotcha. I mean, if done right, it could be great. I heard Gears of War, Guild Wars, yeah.
Years of course.
Oh god.
Guild Wars, they did the buy-to-play model fairly good, right? Like, it's fair, there's things you can obtain from in-game currency, da-da-da-da. I mean, as long as, if anything is executed
User joined your
precisely and well planned out and thought out, of course everyone's going to be happy. But if they just merely implement it and then say charge $150 for an alpha and then keep the cash shop as it is, well, all the problems are there. I'm speaking more negatively just from what I've experienced in 10 months of Korea, and then what I've seen in Russia, where they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make sure that those cash shop things aren't gonna be a problem for Russia, or at least kind of hinted, like, elbowing us, like, hint, you're not going to have those issues. And then Russia's even worse, because in Korea, I don't know if viewers understand, but in South Korea, they have a bill passed stating that people who play MMOs have only a limit of 500 USD, which they can spend a month. So Russia does not have this limitation. So in the first 9 days, there was someone who bought 100,000 pearls. The ratio right now is 1 ruble equals 1 pearl. 100,000 rubles is equivalent to about 1,600 USD almost. And the guy bought everything off the cash shop, all the stones, all the armor stones, weapon stones, armor pieces, and got all his armor to plus 15, and both his weapons, offhand and main hand, to 15. The kid is set for a good 2 months. Like, he is unstoppable at this current moment. So, I just don't want to see the same laziness approach of RU to the NA and EU versions, which everyone is freaking out about now if you go into the Reddit, because and it's sad to see what happened in Russia. Like, there's a blatant disregard for care and handling of players, and it's all about how you handle your community is what you're going to get out of it,
Right. Poet says, today's MO, get as much cash as possible and wait for the game to die, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, is look how much Arcade made in those short amount of time that it didn't have a hype. People were throwing playing alpha just to get in early.
Well, that's true. I agree with Poet. The thing is, you can do that with shitty ass developed MMOs. The Chinese actually love to do this, but trying to build this kind of market scheme with a big AAA MMO is really hard to pull off. Just think of how much money such a game costs. Just as an example, Star Wars: The Old Republic cost about, what was it, $200 million in development. And that's a lot of money. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can make back $200 million in, let's say, 8 months, and then just be like, yeah, let's just let the game die and call it a day. I know that this is a big market practice over in China. There's actually, if you have the time, Google it. It's called $25,000 a month whales. It's a talk on the GDC 2012 or 2013. How Chinese developers just browser MMOs on the sole purpose to cash on anything and everything. And the guy was basically saying, well, you know, we develop a game for $80,000, takes us about 6 months. We release the game, we make $24 million in its first 8 to 9 months. Then we just merge the servers to milk the rest of the money, and then we let it die, and in the meantime we have already developed 3 more games with the same schemes.
Right.
So that does work, it's just not really profitable with MMOs that cost so much money. And my opinion on buy to play is, well, when I first heard about it, it sounded like, yeah, great, sure, why not? I mean, on paper, if you hear buy to play, it sounds awesome. You buy the game, you play it. However, to an MMO, there's way more factors to it than just how much do you pay and how is the model.
Right.
So I don't know, if the game is like $24 to buy, okay, sure, sounds fair. $50, yeah, why not? $60 like a triple A single player game, okay, now we need to talk about how I spent my money, especially as how Kinto said, how does the cash shop look alike? Because if I get the same cash shop like Korea and have to spend $60 up front just to get my awesome feel from behind while I duck down, I don't know if I want to bend over for $60 up front,
Yeah.
you know? There's also other things to consider. If you look at character creation, and then there was a Reddit thread about a lot of things that need to change for the EU version. Let's see if I actually have the thread open.
That was
Not
the
really
one we
right
were
now.
discussing last night, right?
Yep, it's a huge ass thread with a lot of valid points. And let's say you pay $40 buy to play, right?
Mhm.
Would you consider it fair to have the character creation like you have it on Korea for $40? Because I don't. I don't feel like paying $40 to only have 5 of 15 hairstyles per class or character, to only have 3 of 5 faces, to only have 3 of 26 tattoos for $40. I mean, that would need to change, simply because $40 up front is quite a lot of money, especially no matter what kind of Western country you live in. I mean, I know that we in Europe always get flack from NA for having, like, you know, getting better paid and stuff like this. But yeah, $40 would be quite a drop in the bucket if you only get 3 hairstyles and 2 faces, and then you need to buy the value package for another $10 only to change your hairstyle. That would be quite a slap in the face, actually. So
Right.
without actually seeing the cash shop, I don't really feel like saying buy to play is a great option. It's just, to me, it gives me the feel like the developer is not really confident on how the game will do. Especially it had quite a bit of coverage from Western streamers, right? So the Western community that wants actually to play the game is fairly aware of how it plays, how it looks like, what it delivers. And then coming up and telling me, yeah, it's buy to play, please pay $40. And I already know for me as a PV guy, for $40 I get nothing to do besides grinding 6 to 12 hours a day, brain dead AI mobs to get my gear up. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. It's just, it feels like give me the money up front. So if the players don't like it and quit the game in the first 2 months, who cares? They spend at least $40. At least that's my point of view. It just kind of feels like they're not truly committed or dedicated and confident about how the game will do. So let's just go with the safest route to get a certain amount of money for sure.
That makes sense. Oh, I just realized what was going on in chat. UXNE. The cash shop game has not been revealed yet. Do you really think it's fair to make an assessment as of yet about a version no one knows about? Well, that's the thing. We're just talking about what could be possible, and that's the thing. We're just speaking about what we hope doesn't happen. I mean, we're not saying anything's happening for sure. We're just kind of talking about what we don't like, what we dislike, and what we hope that happens. Things that we do like about the game, of course.
That's actually not true. What Yusin is saying. Okay, we don't know the cash up. That's why I was saying it depends on how the cash up looks. So I would restate my opinion. But as you say, it won't be the same. You don't really know. They just said they will change certain things. And you also said it's not the same publisher. That's not true. EU actually has the same publisher like Korea. And that's the same for NA as well. Now you could discuss if this is actually a good thing or a bad thing, considering we've seen so many Korean ports failing miserably on third-party publishing companies, like Tryon, who was actually doing really good job with Rift and they totally screwed it up with Arcage. Or Gameforge, the overlords of EU and German publishing for MMOs. Or basically the rapists of your wallet. Because they really don't give a shit about you as a customer. Coming from 3 years of EU Terra and being constantly bent over. And spit in the face while they're doing it. Like, what? Yeah, bitch. Thanks
Oh
for
my
$60. It was a scam box, by the way.
Did anyone else's nipples get extremely hard?
Oh god. Okay. Anyway, what were we talking about? That's my train of thought.
We have other topics still. So
Well, whatever. Let's just move on
why
to.
is the IP block happening? Or respond to some questions. That too, yeah.
Just looking at what this guy's saying. Well, let's talk about something. Let's talk about something different a little bit. Let's talk about Awakenings. Let's talk about that. I'm actually excited to talk about that. I want to know. So for those who don't know,
I've awakened to a new form.
Wow.
So for those of you who don't know, the Warrior, Giant, and Sorcerer have been announced to have Awakenings. We're not sure if they're doing other classes, but we can assume that they are. But the Sorcerer, Giant, and Warrior have been announced first. And my assumption on the reason why they're doing that is because unlike the newer classes, the original 3 melee classes don't have the same type of design concept as the newer classes. As in, with the newer classes, you can both CC and damage people at the same time with a certain skill. Whereas the older classes, such as Warrior, you have to CC first and then do your damage. This may not seem like a huge deal, but when we're talking about large-scale fights where, you know, you only have a small amount of time to get your damage in before, you know, you kind of get bursted down, you kind of see the difference there when that 1 second needed to actually damage somebody is a crucial disadvantage to yourself because, you know, you're not getting the damage in that certain amount of time. So from what to prove my theory correct, I've been looking at the data mine skill info for the Greatsword, and it did seem like the Greatsword is getting both CC and damage within its skills.
Okay, how's the diminishing return looking? I've looked quickly into it, and I've seen that like it's always one-time use, and even if it's on cooldown and you spam it, like the other abilities, the effect won't apply. Is that right?
Yeah. So like the actual CC effect won't apply if it's on cooldown. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. But the reason why I'm excited for it is because apparently this is supposed to be their version of trying to balance the classes. You know, that constant effort to try and keep everything balanced. But it keeps me interested because Greatsword is also just something I simply wanted in this game since the beginning, since the game first got announced. I was waiting for the class that could use Greatswords. And it just so happens to be that the class that gets it is the class I've been playing since freaking CBT2. So that left me pretty excited. But I wanted to know, what are you guys' opinions on the Awakening system? Do you feel like it was a good idea for them to do balancing this way instead of revamping the entire original class, for them to just add a completely new skill set for the class? Do you think that was a good idea? Was that a smart move by Pearl Abyss's part?
Well, I'd say in terms of development time, it was the smarter move for sure.
Like let's say you mained or Reckless, as a person who mains Sorcerer, do you feel like it's okay? Do you think you'd be okay with them completely revamping the original skill set for your class?
No, leave. It went through months and months of buffs and nerfs, and finally it's at a good, decent spot. Like, I mean, you can add, of course, new skills with new weapons. That's fine, but don't touch the old build, the current build that makes the sword. Like, you can add additional stuff to make her stronger, weaker, or, you know, more AOEs or longer distance or longer range. That's fine, but don't touch their original skills. I mean, I'm not sure if they were planning to do that anyway, but like additional stuff to make her viable in different roles, that'd be great. But like changing her.
What do you think you can expect? Like, if we go with the theory that the Awakening was supposed to fix the weaknesses of the classes, or, you know, help out the weaknesses of the respective class, what do you think Sorcerers was weak at, and what do you think the Scythe can offer for her?
I mean, the only weakness that a Sorc has is she can play one of many roles in terms of PvP. You know, her only weakness comes when it's like, you know, say everyone on equivalent here plus 15, right? And they're farming a dissipation post. As you've seen, a lot of the newer classes have a crap ton of AoEs that deal massive damage, so their farming potential is skyrocketed. You know, Warrior as well as Sorcs are on the bottom of the barrel of how fast they can farm. Say if everyone was equivalently geared, their efficiency for farming is way below everyone else's, just due to the fact that they have one AoE that they can spam with a pretty fairly long cooldown, where a lot of these classes, like say Ninja or Blader, one of their main AoE farming abilities, which is high damage output, but also CC, it's just instant cast, as well as there's no cooldown. You know, the only cooldown part of it is the knockdown part of it, but it doesn't matter because you do one AoE, it deals massive damage, it one-shots mobs, and a huge radius. You can kill 8 mobs at a time. You can go into a group and kill. You know, the Sorc, I don't know how many people have played it, but the Sorc is very, you have to have your opponent right in front of your face, and that's when you deal your damage. So a lot of, like say in the Ninja, the male Ninja from what I played, and the female Ninja, They have a lot of AoE stuff that you don't even have to be targeting something, or not targeting, but looking at something. They don't have to be in your focus. You just go in the middle of it, you spam things, ninja stars fall from the sky, and then you do another move.
Ninja stars fall from the sky, things die.
Everything's dead. Everything's dead. So, the Valkyrie, she's got some pretty strong, powerful AoEs that, she could just throw out in front of her, and it's hitting a pretty wide range of stuff. Archers are... they just need to get deleted, moving on. So, just her main weakness, Awakenings, I feel like you said, will just cover someone's, their weaknesses, and make them more viable for either, say, PvP bursty, because, you say you have troubles with burst on Warrior, you have to put them down and then damage them. You have no skills that are high bursty, where you can just do it from the ground and then do damage. So maybe your Awakening will not only make you more proficient and efficient in farming, where more AoEs and more spammable skills, but also in PvP just make you more of a threat with burst. You lose your defensive capabilities, but you gain burst abilities. So
and from what I've read, it seems to be the case as well. That seems to be what they're doing. For example, I have a skill that I can do it after my Blader style dash, which we get. If you those of you that don't know, we get basically a Blader styles dash with the right click. And after I do that, I can do a shift left click, which does a stun, also tons of damage, like 300% damage times 2 plus 100% critical rate. What the fuck? And after that, you can flow it into a separate skill, which also knocks up and does tons of damage as well. So that just gives you an example of what I think they were doing, was trying to give all the classes a way to do that kind of thing, like just a way to farm efficiently and a way to actually be able to kill people. So, we talk about sorcerers. What do you think? How do you think the giant's gun arm will work? Because we know that the giant, as you know,
wait, he has a rocket punch.
Yeah, like a rocket punch gun arm shit. I don't know.
Metal Gear Solid.
But because we all know that giants, they are the class that everybody considers to be the slow one. Yeah, spin to win, slow, super tanky. That's kind of like their playstyle. Like they just seem like the slow juggernauts. So what it seems like this gun arm's going to do is going to make them. If any of you have ever played Vindictus and have played Karak from Vindictus, it reminds me a lot, the way they described it, of Karak Cestus. The fact that he just goes around weaving through people and just beating the hell out of them and making them explode with his whatever you'd call it. Looks more, he calls it a Cestus, but it's like more like rocket fueled punches. But that's kind of what I'm thinking Giant will be like. They'll get a lot more evasive movement and overall be a lot faster than they are with their dual axes. At least that's my assumption. What do you think, Reckless and Mizu?
Yeah, it's got to be tit for tat. They gain a strength where their weakness was, which was their mobility. They had no iframes. So they were literally relying on taking hits and having a huge HP pool. And then they gave them the more passive defense of the giant, so they were a lot tankier, but still slow. So if they do Awakening, it'll make it maybe potentially faster, but lose their tankiness.
Right.
So it has to be a pro and a con.
Yeah, I agree.
A pro and a pro. Like, it'll be too ridiculous then.
Well, not sure about the giant. I just want to say that we're getting a scythe. How many scythes have I seen in MMOs? Not a lot. So I might need to reroll depending how awesome it is. However, seeing how much real grind is gonna hit my face to get all those SP and level requirements, yeah, no. I think it's interesting, the system itself, especially since I don't know, will they raise the level cap, the Valencia expansion?
For the Awakening? I think it's possible, because considering that they didn't come out the update yesterday like I thought they were, they might release the update at the same time as they're supposed to be releasing the New Northern Valencia area, and you could assume that the level cap, the soft cap, will be raised a little bit from there. And considering that the awakenings
65
themselves,
sounds about
yeah,
right then.
and then considering that the awakenings themselves, they need to be like, for example, one of the Great True skills needs to be level 62 to unlock it. So I could kind of see them raising the level cap.
Well, let's put it this way. I like the idea that you get it very late in the game, so it actually feels like after so and so much grinding,
Yeah,
you finally
yeah.
get a reward. You're
Right.
feeling like you're suddenly progressing, not just in opening your equipment window and it's like, hey, it's on plus 19 for the last 6 months, for example. So yeah, that's actually kind of cool. However, if you consider to re-roll simply for an awakening, that's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Right.
Like, really. So for quite a lot of people, awakening will suddenly play really a factor in choosing a class. Right now, you choose the class you feel like, yeah, that's the playstyle I want to play.
Hmm.
And if you don't like it, you just re-level another class, and in a fair amount of time, you're almost equal in terms of SP. And since you can just transfer the gear, the only thing you need to re-enchant usually is just a weapon, or maybe 2 other slots, like let's say helmet and gloves for bonus or something like that. But now you're like, yeah, I kinda like the class, but the awakening sucks. And if it turns out that the awakening skills are so much better than your usual skills, you kind of don't feel enticed to actually go with the class
Right.
suddenly. You know, it's more like, I actually like the class, but it turns out only the awakening is flavor of the month.
Right. Right. And that's actually something that Tori brought up. Like, what if you know, you get the awakenings, but it completely makes the original skill sets obsolete, just because, you know, of course they would want to design it so that, you know, you use both. But what if it just, the way it just happens, the way the community just finds it, and the meta just ends up that you don't use the old skill sets at all, just because the new ones are just so much better.
That'd be-
Or that the playstyle of the new skills just don't suit you. I mean,
Yeah.
I was fairly certain that I would reroll female ninja for sure.
Hmm.
I even leveled it to 54, almost 55. And it just came to me that I don't like the playstyle of ninja at all. At least for female, it was really boring.
Hmm.
As in, all I do is spam one button, because that ability and maybe another ability, they were so ridiculously overpowered, so it wouldn't even actually make sense to use this combo or that combo if I can just stand in the mobs and spam ability X and it dies really fast. Compared to playing female blader now for a long time, female blader just, to me, feels like it has a really good flow in skills. I don't really spam one button. I always feel like the combos, they flow just better for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
class compared to other classes, I
Mhm.
suppose. So let's say we get an awakening and it turns out to be the new meta for that class, and I don't like that playstyle because you only spam skills, and my other kind of skills, they don't feel like they're doing so well as they did before awakenings.
Right.
It could be a huge letdown, as in suddenly the class you love so much turns out to be not what you wanted it to be.
Right. Right.
Then you're faced with the decision, well, do I reroll, and what class do I reroll? How does this awakening actually play? And well, you actually need to kind of play it. I mean, playing a lot of MMOs, just watching video, you can grasp the gameplay to a certain degree,
Hmm.
but still not really. So for
Yeah.
me, that would actually mean like, hey, Reckless, can I log into your account and play Zork for about 3 weeks to figure out if it plays how I want it to play.
Because the classes do have a learning curve. Like, it does take a while for you to get used to
Exactly.
them.
So yeah, but in general, my consensus on Awakening is it feels good to get something like that. It gives you a lot of character progression and not just gear progression. It will also feel pretty rewarding, I suppose. Like I said, you feel like, oh, suddenly my character progressed a lot. I have now 3 new skills and they're really, really awesome. But for rebalancing classes, I don't know. I think certain things would be better off to be fixed than just like, yeah, let's forget about it, here, have this new shiny skill.
Yeah, yeah.
And I swear to God, if bladers don't get dual wield, I'ma go back to Terra.
Yeah, we need dual wielding for Kirito here.
Oh god.
He can fulfill his destiny.
Okay. Except my name's not Kirito.
The thing
It's
is though,
Kirito.
Ah, jeez.
he is not the fastest on the server, so he'll never get the skill.
I don't need dual wielding.
Yeah,
Chase
right.
is saying you're not allowed to touch his dual wielding.
I don't want your dual wielding. Get out of here.
But I miss both of you guys on Bladers, because then you were like my little pets, and I would sick you on someone, and then
Okay.
I would keep one of them busy. And I'm sorry, Chase. Please don't hurt me.
Nope. Record,
How's it
you're
going,
gonna
Chase?
die. Keep doing it, I'm gonna hunt you against the earth.
Rude. You know what? As soon as NA comes up, I will be putting a bounty on Kirito and Chase.
You won't have money because it'll camp you so hard you can't earn it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you know what? I'll just go Ranger. How about that?
We'll still kill you.
Damn it.
Oh, let's talk about what kind of group content do you guys think the game could get? Or what would you like to see,
I mean,
group-wise?
remember back in the day, they were joking, making April Fool's jokes. And
With the
all that
100
stuff they talked
man
about-
tower?
All that stuff they talked about, they brought, except for the 100-man tower, or 100-floor tower.
Yeah.
I personally think that a world big 100-floor dungeon tower within the world would fit perfectly, because then you could do your PvE content in this weird tower and then try to figure out why it's constructed, or, you know, but I know it was a joke, but we just need party-driven content
Have
in
you guys
terms of PvE.
played
Something
Dark Age of
difficult.
Dark Age of Camelot, you said? I have not played that, no. I've heard about it, though, but I haven't played
in
it.
that game, there was a type of tower that's very similar to that, and
Mhm.
it encouraged a lot of realm versus realm or PvP type combat. So you try and control the tower as a group, and
Mhm.
the other groups can come in and try and kick you out, and you have to go
Okay.
into a PvP mode to try and take over the tower. And it actually became like a guild kind of thing.
Oh, that actually sounds
Guilds
really cool.
Would form to try and take over this tower, and it actually played a vital role in the entire world. So I think having a 100-man tower would be cool, and adding in that kind of PvP element where a guild can actually make a difference and claim that territory would add some emphasis onto the game.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying we should copy them, obviously, but something like that would be
Something like big-ass temples buried in the sand, or something more dynamic world bosses. Yeah, yeah, that's what we agree. I feel like there's a lot of directions they can go with PvP content, and hopefully with this this update they're having for the Northern Valencia area, it will add those stuff, because that's what they said they wanted to do, is more party-based bosses and things like that. My only hope is that they make the party-based bosses something that actually is challenging for the party, more so than just trying to pot through it, you know? Like, giving you an actual thought process.
We need mechanics.
We need
Yeah.
thought process. Like, let's bring
Could I,
back the old formation system, for God's sake.
Yes,
You know,
oh
like-
my gosh, I
and then
love the whole
increase-
idea for that.
One.
The
And
old
then just-
formation system.
And just bring back the old hardness of the game in general,
Well, I
with
probably
mobs
shouldn't
and
talk about
creeps.
formation system because CM Ollie's already talked that's not coming back.
Ah.
But,
Oh, well, there goes my hopes and
But
dreams.
I
and
do-
my-
I think that we should put in perspective for the game is that they've already expected the game to go up to like level 90.
Right.
They're already planning things for level 90. They have skills in here that are level 90 already. So when we're looking at this and we're saying, look at this kind of PvE that we have going on, we have to also imagine that they're going to be putting in harder bosses here. They're gonna see our responses. Obviously, we can see that in the Korean version that they made it easy mode, and I think that the bosses they put in so far, putting Zaka in, was the first step in a different direction for AI. Because previous to that, there was nothing. We were just
Right.
completely dumbfounded.
That is
with how easy
true.
everything
That
was.
is true. There was nothing at first, so at
Then
least they
added
did
Dragon,
something.
which in my opinion, Dragon's harder than Zaka, just because he moves
Yeah,
around more and
slightly.
it requires more attention to it. But like, if they keep something like that and they keep it going all the way up till level 90, I don't think we're gonna have a problem with PvE. But again, how long is it gonna take for that point where we can get to level 90? I mean, it's already
Right.
taken. We have like 4 or 5 Koreans in each server that's only level 60, and the game's been out since December, and these Koreans are barely getting to 60 now.
Right.
Well, there's quite a lot of more 60s now, but that's thanks to figuring out how to stack the ultimate amount of EXP buffs. I do agree, though,
Paywall.
that the thing
like,
is,
On top of
Like
the,
you
the awakenings are starting at level 56. So like to be a great sword warrior, you have to be level 56. That's your start. So every single other awakening for their subclasses are going to be level 56. So we already know that the end game for awakenings is already past what we currently consider the end game value of 55.
Right.
So and that's kind of a start. They're adding more emphasis to classes. I believe that that's true, but at the same time, we have to really fantasize what are they going to do towards PvE content since they're developing these new character skins.
Yeah, but for them to want the players to have that longevity, especially to a Western market who is used to, well, I mean, even Korea, you know, they grew up with instances and da 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 da. But ensure longevity, they have to start introducing, you know, hardy PVE content and just thinking of ways to bring friends together. You know, like, right now it's, you know, it's a lot of solo stuff. You only come together for PvP, and it's just it's a little too much solo stuff right now. You know, so
Right.
I think we do have the parts in the game to make it function and bring it together. To just have to figure out, you know, a system how we can just drive it together.
Right.
I think one of the things that
for good
we can
content,
observe
you know?
through the whole thing we've done is we've been able to experience it falling from the very beginning closed betas all the way down to where we didn't like it at all, and kind of see it climb back up and fall back down and then climb back up. And so we got to see these struggles that the game has done, and we've been able to see that they are trying to take the players' minds and put them together. They're trying to do such, and I think the fact that the NA in the Europe side faction, CM Ollie, is doing so well in communicating, that it's a more positive sign than
Yeah.
GameNet. Because GameNet, I know that they tried to go out towards the community by adding those surveys, but like they didn't really have a actual voice, someone you could put behind that voice, besides in a company.
Well, and you also need to consider that survey is it's always a forum, right? And how much of the actual player base goes to a forum? So in the end, you still have like more like a vocal minority. I mean, if you remember the vote about how leveling should be done in Russia, right? They were all about harder grind and taking longer for levels and stuff. And the Russian version goes online, and all those people who bought founder packages but actually didn't really know about the game or any kind of those surveys, the day later they're like, yeah, this game is shit. It's grinding like crazy. What's up with that? Simply because the vocal minority was like, yeah, we want a hardcore game. We want to grind like 400 hours for level 50. While the big pool of actual streaming in new consumers that is not aware of those surveys and how the game actually is, they just come in, they see it takes me about 8 hours to get to level 20. what is this? Why am I even playing that?
Right.
But also, the veterans of the game also, the ones that have played Korea, that played RU, or just play Korea and still playing it, and then are coming to NA, they've gained so much knowledge that, say Alpha does come out soon and people play it. People have been waiting for this game for years just to play, that didn't want to deal with Russian or didn't want to deal with Korea, that they're going to be happy just to have the game like we discussed before. So the issue is they're going to go in, look for bugs that, are
Well, see, that's what I feel like betas is for. Betas is
Kinto,
for bugs,
your
while
mic
alpha is
skew.
supposed
Oh,
to
sorry.
be game mechanics.
Yeah, but see, these are issues that have probably always been in the game. It's just we didn't know until we reached the end game, and then we're like, whoa. There's things that are kind of iffy here that needs to some attention. But I feel like so many people are gonna be so happy just to get into the game and just to play it that they're not gonna understand. So then they're going to be the majority of people speaking, like they're gonna see people's wallets doing the speaking and be like, oh look, people enjoy the game, blah 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 blah. And there's only a few complaints, or a decent sized amount of people that played before with a decent size of complaints. The question is, do we take the majority of the people buying into it, playing it, and say thumbs up, this game's beautiful and gorgeous, which is always what we see in the beginning, right? Or are we gonna take the veterans that have like played in closed betas in Korea, that played OBT, that played live, then played additional 10 months, there's things in this game especially you don't understand how good or bad they are until 3, 4, 5 months into the game, and then things start being an issue, or things are always an issue, you just never were there to feel it or see it
Well,
because you never reached that point.
That's a valid point. I mean, if you look at us, we played OBT. We were totally ecstatic about it, right? We leveled, we grinded, we had fun, we had GVGs, we had the great horse wars of open beta,
The horse wars. Kill all the horses.
kill all the horses and things like that, and we had super fun. We were excited about it, the game felt amazing, and like you said, 3-4 months into the game, you suddenly, like you said, all the shininess, it's all gone. And especially these days where players are more impatient, they start to look more precise for what's the actual core of the game. As in, for us, we didn't really bother with all the professions. We didn't do a lot of fishing beside zone test. We didn't do a lot of trading. We didn't do a lot of mini games actually, because we already were at the point where like, okay, we want to PvP, we need gear. How do you get gear? Grind. Mancha Forest is love. Mancha Forest is life. Set the timer to 26 hours a day and do it 7 days a week. Just because you wanted that sweet plus 15, we ignored all the other factors of the game. And like you said, new fresh players, they have completely other perspective. They see, oh, I can do this, I can do that. I mean, you see it on the Reddit posts right now from new players on the Russian version. They're like, yeah, the game is awesome, it's fucking amazing, it's great, I love it. How long has he played it? A week, of course. The first week, if the servers aren't like constantly offline like certain other relaunched free-to-play titles, Wildstar, that wouldn't let me play, I would say, yeah, Wildstar is great, it's a fucking amazing game. But the server was like, yeah, fuck you, so I was like, yeah, fuck you too. The game died before I actually played it. But if you can't play the game the first week, and everything is new, shiny and exciting,
It's gonna be the best.
of course,
Best thing.
it's the best game you have ever played for now. And 3, 4, 5 months down the drain, you're like, okay, I see rust there. I see moss there. Interesting. There's a crack. How did this happen? And suddenly you start to see the actual flaws. Like for us, when
It's
we
shadows.
started to see, yeah, exactly.
Huh?
And it's just when we started to realize the biggest flaw, which we actually kind of skipped in flaws of the game, is the gear creep, right?
Right.
So, yeah, the first 3 months they're awesome. You do trading, you do fishing, you do whaling, you explore the world. But at some point, you have seen it all, and you ask yourself, what's the core of the game? To get gear. How do I get gear? Right, mobs upon mobs upon mobs upon mobs till you fall asleep. Just because, you know, if I don't have that plus 17, I don't stand a chance against other people with 17. So there's a lot of things that I personally think people are just not aware of it. Also,
Yeah.
to put it, there's also quite a bit of misinformation going around, or let's say outdated information.
For the game?
Personally, yes.
Yeah.
Since I am a huge like forum lurker and stuff, I
Yeah.
see people making statements like, yeah, this game is a huge fucking grind fest. Okay, I do agree, but then, like, if you die, you lose half of your level XP and you lose your enchantments. This game is shit. I'm like, dude, what? I lose 2%. 2%. 2%. Not 50. Where does that even come from?
Yeah,
Versus
yeah.
50%. What the hell?
And then that's just from a PvE death. If you lose from another player, if you die from another player, you lose nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this was all nerfed.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, I do agree that it had to be done, simply because our audience really doesn't like the stuff. We discussed it already. Losing enchants is like totally not cool with us. So yeah. Actually, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. I just
kind of
wanted
just went off.
Yeah, kind of. Just, I don't know.
Yeah. I
Once you
understand.
see what the game actually is, with any game, to be fair, you need to re-evaluate the game and just not ride the shiny wave of awesomeness you had the first few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, the game hasn't changed. It's just my perspective on the game has been updated, I guess. You know, like I start to see different things. Like, for example, that whole potion thing. It kind of becomes a problem, at least later on in the game, when you actually can see it from a different perspective, from the perspective of people who actually have, you know, the life to be able to sustain all that potion use or whatever, or the money to be able to sustain all that potion use. I don't know. But anyway, we already talked about that. We shouldn't go back into it. It's another thing we could talk about.
Well, just like, you know, I think all of us came to the same conclusion with all the months that we put in, with the same exact feelings that people played when they first got into the game. Oh my god, it's amazing, da-da-da-da-da. And then we keep passes. But I'm saying, you went through that phase, as I guess every gamer does with a brand new game. You go through the brand new shiny phase, the honeymoon phase, and da-da-da-da. And just like marriage, it slowly dies and decays and just...
Oh my, okay.
Sorry.
Escalated rather
So
quickly there.
We came to the same conclusion that we all were just logging on just to grind. Like, there was nothing really holding us there. Like, only
But-
reason I kept playing was because you guys kept playing, and, you know...
But I mean, we also keep in mind that that's just because that's the way we were, because we were all about the PvP, and because we were all about the PvP, that's kind of what our daily login thing was we just logged into grind. But you know, for other players, I mean, for other players who actually liked all the other content that had available to them, they didn't see it as much of a problem because they had other things to do, like crafting and fishing and everything else. So for them, it's not as much big as a problem. But yeah, like you're saying, like for us who do enjoy the PvP and who would like to be able to PvP be able to get into PvP at a much not as hard of a time to get into it, it was hurtful to see what's been going on in the green version. But let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about that. We talked about awakenings and classes, group content. Do you guys have any expectations for NAU? Like what you can? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly on a dragon.
You want to fly on a dragon?
Oh my god, a dragon!
Yeah, but only me. See.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you guys don't get a dragon, just me.
Got it.
I want a dragon. I'll take the cat girl maid. It's fine.
No, we don't have
Oh
any.
god. Well, it's already been decided. Mizu will be my cat girl maid in game, so.
Wow,
And
dude,
I'll
you
eat
can't
him
just
with my
state
dragon.
things like those on a live stream. Are you serious?
Listen here, streamers. I've claimed Mizu since day one, so.
He's gay.
I am
Can't
not
help
in
it.
one DLC. What the fuck? Anyway, expectations. Ha. Well,
Kinto the Cry.
yeah.
Huh?
Okay, so I expect Kinto to solo the front lines. That's
Yep.
for sure.
Oh god. Okay. All right.
I expect Chase to be the professional horse breeder we all know and love him for.
I'm always AFK. What do you mean professional?
Come on, horses, lift that weight, bench that.
I thought AFK
Okay.
is the professional way.
I hope
Oh, it
player-based
is?
economy will be a thing, much like in WoW, where players and their
Yes.
professions or trading take a huge part in the economy.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
I
is
agree.
something I do agree with. That's a good point.
And we saw a little of that in Korea, where each market auction house was different prices, completely dependable on the player's economy of how much was being sold and how rare it was on the marketplace. So you would actually go to different towns and cities to sell goods because they were maybe a little bit higher price selling over there, or they were cheaper in this town, and then they kind of just merged it into one world economy on the auction house. But also
Right.
player-made prices. I mean, as long as there's no cash shop items being sold on the market and it was player-driven economy, I would love it. I mean, there's no reason not to do it. It creates more immersion in your game, and I mean, you want to sell an MMO as immersing you, and then you know what, the more immersion you do, you can get away with having an extremely grinding game because players aren't thinking about grind if they're immersed
Yeah,
in the
if they're immersed in
game.
the game, exactly.
Well, see, this is what
You
happened
give
at the
us
beginning,
fun
though, is
and that's it.
the costumes were only 2 mil when they very first came out. You sold on the auction house. They were only 2 mil. They were rarely
They
ever on the auction.
they were actually, to correct you, they were actually 200k because I remember, because that's how much I bought my whole
Yes,
set for.
I
It
Okay,
was
so
200k.
It was
By the
not
way-
worth it to spend money and then try and sell it on the auction house. It was not worth it.
Yeah.
And that was okay with me. I thought that was
Well,
perfectly
that's what
fine.
we discussed, Jace. Like I
doesn't-
said,
Yeah, it didn't matter.
those prices, they were just readjusted because the whales are like, yeah, I'm not getting my money's worth. And that's why I personally think selling customs would be totally okay as long as the economy is actually player driven. Because if there's 6,000 of the bunny rabbit hood awesome helmet,
People are undercutting.
people are undercutting, and then you see fair prices and it works out. Terra worked out beautifully with that actually. Just not the EU version, because the EU version was like, yeah, you know what, we just nerf out all kinds of ways to make gold in the game, so you can only make it while selling cash ups stuff. But let's not talk about scam.
I
But
mean,
yeah, what other kinds of expectations? I feel like we should get some things done in terms of performance for the client. Simply because we don't play in PC banks, so every setup is kind of unique, I suppose. There should be some things I just kind of miss, but every MMO usually has, like, why do I not have a slider for draw distance? The only way for draw distance is either you set the checkbox for ultra, which tanks your FPS, but you have some draw distance. And why do I not have a slider to tell the game only show me 30 characters in the range of 80 meters or something like that? Because seriously, do I need to see 500 people at the dragon and spamming all those skills and my GPU is just like all over the place? No, not really. I mean, currently running an older version of the Titan, it does its job okay, but world bosses, not really.
Right,
Not
right.
really. I just hope that they really do adapt to the DirectX 12, which would help a lot, especially.
Yeah, I believe they said they're gonna adapt to that soon, right?
Well, they said they're definitely looking into it and would
Okay.
like to do it. It depends on how much change of code you need to do. However, I know that certain DirectX 12 features run on DirectX 11.3. So there is some optimization that can be done with the new features, just not the full set like on DirectX 12.
True, yeah, okay.
What other kind of expectations? Oh yes, please give us a good launcher.
Yes, yes. None of that web launch stuff.
Dude, no web launch stuff, no freaking window that is triple as big as my
What?
27-inch monitor.
One of my favorite parts about the freaking
bullshit.
RU version is the fact that it's, you know, launcher launched and not web launched.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
in which we already saw, like, you know, BDO Tome, you know, a third party of, you know, people, individuals with certain skill sets that were just able to make their own launcher for the Korean version. Like, hey guys, this is what we want. We want a launcher. We want to ease, not go on a website and then log on and put our, you know, have to pee in a cup and give a blood and, you know, sperm sample
God.
just to get in the game. You know, I'm
Well,
glad
but
my
he does
account's
have a
secure.
point. That launcher actually, especially in terms of usability, it's just log in, launch the game. And
Yep.
the window isn't even big. I don't get why most launchers for Korean ports have windows with huge big resolutions that spam my screen with, look at this cache up update, look at this, look at that. Dude, I don't give a shit. If I want to know, I'll go on the website. I just want to log in and play the game.
I just think it's because, you know, their eyes are different.
Okay, reckless. Anyway.
And I expect a better version of the patching process. I mean, right now they kinda have it down on the Korean version, but the first months, really every patch, I was like, okay, let's back up the whole game folder, 28 gigabytes, because the patch might screw me over.
Yeah.
And streaming would be awesome too, as in, you download the game, no, you play the game while you download the game. World of Warcraft managed it.
Yeah, I think that's an
Even
awesome feature.
Terra managed it. You can just, you download the initial 5 gigs, then you can play the game, and while playing, it downloads the game in the background. That would be pretty amazing. But, yeah. Oh, and I expect nothing more than 60 milliseconds latency.
Yeah, for sure,
Really.
for sure.
I mean, Netherlands, go, do it. I want good servers. I'm fed up with 400 milliseconds. Where like Reckless is teleporting all over the fucking place in the arena. Other expectations?
Oh, just answering a comment for that Zeta Med.
Go on.
But yeah, there's how many professions? 9 professions in the game, and they're all right here under craft. You have collection, which just basically just allows you to go around gathering things. processing, in which you do, like, let's say you get a bunch of iron ore, you can process it into like iron bars and things like that. That's what processing is for. It also allows you to do like simple cooking and simple alchemy. Cooking allows you to do more advanced recipes. You have to get a pot and put it in your house. Alchemy, same deal, but with more advanced alchemy recipes. You have to get whatever the hell the alchemy thing is, and put it in your house, and you can do stuff with that. Taming, you just go around taming horses, and eventually at a later date, apparently camels and elephants. Fishing, of course, straightforward fishing. Hunting, you get a rifle, and you go around hunting animals, whales, and alligators in a lake. And that's how you train up your hunting XP. Haven't found much of use for it other than those, but it's pretty fun. And then there's trading, which of course I think you've heard about this game, or if you've played arcade, same deal. You just go around trading packs from city to city. And then growth is essentially farming. Anyway, what are you guys talking about in chat over there? So yeah, I think that was it. I think we went over all the topics, right, guys?
Well, we had one topic that we kind of skipped, and that is, why is the IP block happening right now in the Russian, Korean, and Japanese versions? Question is though, do people actually want to know about this, or
I
I
mean,
don't know.
it's pretty. I mean, from a business perspective, it's a smart thing to do because they want people to be spending, you know, their money in their respective cash shops, and I guess spending the correct amount of money, because technically the conversion rate from USD to Russia is much lower. You're overall getting more bang for your buck if you're spending in Russia than if you were to in the Korea, for example.
Yeah, I think that has also to do with taxing your income. If it comes from other countries, not quite sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is though, it also kind of depends on the publisher. So the Japanese version and the Russian version, they are published by other companies than Down.
Right.
And they kind of want to get their money. That's also the reason why I believe NA and EU is still not banned from the Korean version, because they know the EU and NA version will be on Down too, so it doesn't matter if these people spend it on Korea or NA. The money in the end goes directly to Down, without the man in the middle publisher being GameNet or PMang in Japan, right?
Right.
So like you said, it makes sense from a business standpoint out. They just want to maximize profits.
Well, yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. I think that was it on all the topics, right? All I want to do is be a bandit and smash all the boats and carriages. Of course, you destructive woman.
Hey, even a level 35 bandit can be the...
But yeah, hopefully, with the NA launch, and hopefully not too long after that, we can see a return of, you know, banditry and actually have it as something that's viable for players. I think that would be really fun and interactive content.
I just want to live on Pirate Island and be a pirate.
Yeah, I would love to live out in the
Drive a
seas,
boat, and
live out on
then
an
drive
island.
up to a city and then start shooting a cannon into town.
Right?
Oh, look, you're doing some AFK trading now? Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not like you. I just want to dress up and be
Mizu,
pretty.
you are mine and you will be dressed up. So basically, I'm going to feed you hormones as well. So.
Well, it's fine as long as Sugar Daddy pays for the lingerie. It's okay for me.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I think that was it, right, guys?
Dude, we wanted to make an hour and a half. We did 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah, we went way
Yeah,
over.
I can. We covered a lot of stuff.
I think so
Let's
too.
talk about how Birdie's a pleb. Is there what was that on the itinerary?
No, that was
could
not on the
talk
itinerary.
No. Okay. Okay.
Oh my
One
god.
is taking human forms, but yeah, no. I was told that topic is too
Wow.
safe for
No,
work.
Mizu. Bad. Bad.
Well, actually, yeah. Let's bring up naval combat. What do you guys think naval combat would be like since they're coming out with it soon? Do you think it'll be like?
Jusine, they said they will bring it, thanks to player demand. So I'm stoked about it. Arcade did it really well. Actually.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
That was probably one of the
But-
best
really
things about
nice.
Arcade.
Within the current system, as long as karma stays the current way, no one's gonna want to do it, at least in KR, because you'll get negative 200,000 karma, and
Okay.
what's the point?
But
You
think
know?
about it. You're fighting on the sea, right? So basically, that's like international lawless waters.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no need for a karma system on.
yeah, as long as they
lawless
can carry on what
areas.
Arcade did, was as long as you were out on the open seas, anything was, good. Like you weren't in
Yeah.
the realms.
That actually
of
does bring up a good
law,
point.
So so as long as they keep it like that and go back to the old karma system, like there should be no karma system.
Yeah.
Because karma system makes sense in the realms of law and order and government, but on the seas, no one's watching every inch of the seas. Like,
And that was
you
something
can't do
that also
so.
Xstar brought up was like in certain areas, like for example the desert and the waters, it would be cool if the karma system didn't really apply there.
Exactly, simply because there's no laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And however, naval combat sounds good, but I think I need to fix swimming for characters quite a bit before that actually takes off properly.
Mhm.
Because I think it's rather unfinished and clunky right now. I mean, you jump into the water and you sink like a stone.
Yeah.
Which to a certain amount makes sense. You're carrying like steel weapons and stuff. But sometimes you just jump into the water and you sink like instant 300 meters down, and the whole way of navigating your character in the water feels rather unfinished. So getting kicked off the boat
Yeah.
naval battle
They-
and trying to get back up can be
They for sure
very
still have some
annoying.
polishing on the waters to do. But hopefully with that update with the naval combat, hopefully they're focusing on it a little bit more, and then they can fix those problems.
And no, Seto, we don't have any affiliation. We are just MMO players coming from various backgrounds,
But
stating
also,
our opinions of about 10 months experience of the game right now.
yeah, as long as they
We should
fix fishing,
mention
it would be
that all
great.
the time, dude. That it's just opinions, not facts. Wait, that it is in fact only opinions.
Wait, opinions are not facts? What? Sorry. Had to. No? Okay. Whatever. Okay.
Okay, nice Yuik. Yuikni. But anyway,
We can certainly link the video to Oliver, I suppose.
Kinto
It's
also
just-
did a 15-page write-up of.
I did do
when,
that.
Oliver was discussing with the community and first introduced. He wanted to know the feedback from the community or concerns, and Kinto, as nice as he is, good guy Kinto, wrote up a very, fairly long document, but it's very well organized, very well written, with punctuation and very professional. And it's easy to read, and it has pictures. And it
Picture
just basically
books,
talks about
yeah.
everything we discussed tonight. Actually, if we want to think about it, we discussed a little bit of PvP and housing, crafting. Discussed issues of Cash App, and a lot of the issues are stated in there, and that was sent over to Ali. I mean, I'm sure a video and a little podcast with opinions from veteran players would interest them. So, but it is there, and if you guys want the link, we can. Oh, never mind, he's got it for you. There you go.
One step ahead of you. Anyway, but yeah, I think we went over all the topics. So, I mean, if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask. But I think I'm about to wind down the stream here in a little bit. Probably go PK some players. Reckless will go PK some people.
I've been locked out of the game for about an hour now.
Oh
every time I
gosh.
try to connect, it says failed to connect to the server. And Birdie, get the lead, thanks.
Oh, you said you have tons of questions, Tori?
Yeah, I have tons of questions.
What's your questions? What are your questions?
Do we have to have Reckless in the kill?
Oh god. Oh god.
Yes, we do, because we
Yeah.
need a daddy.
Number 2,
Yeah.
if we do kick Reckless out,
Wow.
can we just spawn kill him?
Yeah, I guess we can.
What?
Sweet.
I will destroy him.
We did agree that the instant revive item would be balanced outside of sieges, right?
What's up, Enrico? You have a question? Go ahead and go for it. Delay is strong. Anyway, but while he's getting his question together, I'm excited for NA though. I gotta say I'm excited. I'm hoping for the best.
Not for PK, right?
I'm excited for PKing you, yeah. Wow. Should I not be excited for PKing you? Someone tell Rob to come duel me.
That's isn't that Kush?
Is it? I don't know. I just started playing. I want to know what do I need to
I
do
think it's
first?
Kush.
Like, oh my God, Reckless! Thanks for your obvious answer.
Thank you.
Okay, well, since you first started playing, I'm going to assume that you first started playing as if like you're level 1 and you literally just got into the game. I would suggest literally following all your quests. Take this time to learn the game. The game has too many quests. Yeah, the game does have a ton of quests. But the thing about the quests is kind of like a tutorial. They kind of teach you everything you're going to be doing about the game, everything you're going to be doing at end game, like all the crafting, all the grinding, all the farming for contribution points, the acquisition of blackstones, how the blackstones work, how you extract the blackstones, how to farm, how to cook, how to do
I'm
alchemy.
excited when you say all that.
About the story, man.
Questing fun, guys.
But yeah, I'd suggest just following the quests and go through the areas. You don't need to rush. There's no point in rushing really, at least at the moment. You're gonna be behind anyway. If you're trying to play this game to actually PvP, you're gonna be behind. But I mean, you'll be able to catch up.
You have to go in the hyperbolic chamber for 10 months.
You can only be in there for 48 hours, you scrub.
Yeah, but like Yuikni said, there's a lot to do. Kind of just do whatever you feel like doing, really. Don't force yourself to do anything. That's the one thing I would suggest is don't force yourself and get bored of something. If you're feeling bored of something, do something else. There's plenty of other activities in the game to do.
Also, take grinding breaks. Try
Yeah.
to explore and enjoy the scenery, because that is really something this game puts to a whole other level in terms of
For sure.
atmosphere and aesthetics. So if you're grinding for, let's say, 2 hours or something, just take a break and go on exploring sessions. There's a lot of hidden caves and other interesting things to find. And the scenery, especially the lightning engine, is, for an MMO, out of this world. Sunset and sunrise, damn.
Yeah, gorgeous sunsets and sunrises. Some guys told me to get 51st, doing only story and Black Spirit quests. You can. It's an option. If you feel up to that, if you feel like you want to do that, you can, but you don't have to. Like, there's no... I mean, sure, questing becomes easier when you're 50 because you can kill things a lot faster. But, I mean, the game's already easy anyway. So it's kind of up to you. What's a good MMO to play while waiting for this game? What's a good MMO to play?
The question is, do you
Put
want
yourself
to get
in a-
a feel for action combat, then I would suggest Terra Online, just to get an actual feel for action combat. Since Black Desert's combat is like evolutionary step of this combat system, it would be a good idea to get a feel for that. Otherwise, if you really feel like spending a subscription and want to see some group content, try out Final Fantasy XIV. It's actually a really well-made game.
Well, you should also add, if you want to be severely disappointed in any type of PvE content and party play content, play Final Fantasy XIV, then come to Black Desert.
So, would ever you guys like to see how the PK system works and see if people drop trade packs? Because I can kill this ranger right here.
Do it.
Do it.
Do
Oh,
it.
wow. Okay. Well, anyway.
it.
So let's say you want to PK somebody. You'll press Alt-C, you'll turn on PK mode, and at the bottom, at the left side of your HP bar, down here at the bottom, your swords will go red. Find a target you'd like to attack. In the Russian version, they have to be at least level 30, whereas in the Korean version, they have to be at least level 50. And then, so let's say you go up to this person. This person, I kind of feel bad because they're doing a trade pack. Wow, they're super fat. Huh. Oh, let's shoot people here.
Do it. Do it. Kinto, do it. Practice. Pretend it's Rectus. I mean, Birdie.
Okay, so that took my karma from 60k down to 100. Oh, down to only 52k. And they did loot stuff, drop stuff that I can loot, but I can't pick it up yet until it's 3 minutes down. So I have to wait for 3 minutes before I can pick it up. If they wanted to, they could come back and attempt to kill me, but by the time they come back, because of the way the flagging works,
Dude, you yeah.
my flag will go off, and they would have to turn on PK mode to attack me back. But if I were negative karma, I would be permanently flagged, and then they can attack me whenever they feel like it. And wow, these people are probably AFK because they're kind of just sitting here.
That poor ranger, like.
But
The icon you clicked, right? This small egg icon or what it looks like. That means you can revive players. There's a medical kit you can use on dead players. You can buy it from NPCs.
Yeah, but why does he want to revive that player that he just killed?
To kill him again.
it's Kinto. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to murder you. Res, kill again. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do it. Sorry. Res, kill. Oh my god, what am I doing? I'm pressing the wrong button.
Yeah, the 3 minutes you've seen are basically to give you a chance for your corpse run and get the stuff back before anything else can loot it.
You can't see what they drop until the 3 minutes is up.
yeah, yeah.
Pick up.
Can they drop
There we go.
the
So
pack?
they dropped a Spirit of the Earth sculpture, which is worth 1,300. Wow, that's really shitty.
So they didn't.
But what it does is it puts it on your back like this. So then you would have to run back somewhere and transfer
Oh,
it.
so you did get it.
Yeah, I got the back.
Oh, so you did get. Wow. Oh, so.
Wait,
That's
if
saying
someone
when-
starts attacking you while you have a pack on your back, can you drop it to fight them? Or
That's a good
are they,
question.
stuck?
I think you'd have to freaking delete it.
You have to delete it?
yes.
That's-
Yeah, you'd have to throw it away.
So basically,
Unless you have your horse next to you, which you can put it on your horse.
Yeah, but I don't. That's not.
That's pretty cool though, because that's saying maybe the characters, when you start getting those expensive items, you can drop it when you get PK'd and someone else can just come along and pick it up.
and you can't defend yourself while carrying the pack either. So it's your own risk to carry it.
Where was this pack coming from? So if you look at the item that dropped, you can check where the item originated from. So this originated from Trent Village. So considering that the player is heading this direction, they're probably taking it somewhere further away to try and get a profit off it. But because I don't have these two nodes connected, I would get less of a profit from going this direction. So it would be in my best benefit to go from Trent Village and follow the nodes all the way up and probably trade it somewhere further away up here, for example. And that would give me the most profits for it.
I wonder where they auto-pathing. Or...
They probably were auto-pathing. That's why it's not a good idea to auto-path.
Auto-path while doing this.
Yeah. She's gonna come back. Oh man, I'm almost. Oh no! Why
God
not?
damn it!
It'd be amazing if you had guilds dedicated to being bandits or guilds dedicated to protect traders. That's
We
what the
definitely
original
talked about
idea.
it.
Yeah, that was what we originally thought was going to be happening as well.
We wanted to do that because we were a smaller guild, so we wanted to be like a guild of like bandits and mercenaries. Like you hire us to protect your stuff, or you hire us to go, you know, attack your enemy best high trader person, take all his stuff and kill him and PK
Well,
him, and then you know.
but basically, with the Russian karma system, you can actually do this, right?
No, yeah,
You can
definitely.
claim to be a mercenary or bandit guild, I suppose. The thing is, if I remember right, the initial concept was to have guilds in 3 categories, right? Like fighting guilds, religious guilds, and trader guilds. And you get certain bonuses for those activities, but they kinda dropped that concept.
Mhm.
I can't tell you why though. I just know that was the initial concept for the guild. Also, I remember, I think you said that, Reckless, when Steparu stated that people were karma bombing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was back in closed betas where you had a karma system for your own and a karma system for the guild, if I remember correctly. That
Oh
was
yeah,
also scrapped. I mean, there's no more karma for the guild itself.
yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, I said, but there's no more trade guilds. I mean, there can be guilds that do this, but it's not like they get any kind of benefit for that activity.
Yeah, it's just they had a lot of great ideas, and for some unknown reason, they just dropped it. They were like, it just doesn't work. But I mean, I feel like the things they dropped were literally the things that would have
Made the
made.
game.
Yeah, like that was the content they dropped, and then it's just out now. Like like come on, guys, why?
Right, right.
Well,
So
you have to consider, like I told you a few days ago, that the Korean market is shifting heavily towards
yeah,
mobile gaming, so that could be a reason why they changed a lot of things. I mean, those initial concepts on our part of the planet, they still work, as we can see from people saying, yeah, I want this. But for the Korean market, apparently it's just not profitable anymore. I mean,
that's why
there
they
is a
lost the
reason
war.
why the
Wow.
3 biggest Korean publishers are like, yeah, we don't publish any MMORPGs anymore.
What content have they dropped? Zeta, for example, the original concept of the game, we were supposed to have extremely, extremely dark weather, like to the point where you need to bring lanterns out at night. Um, you were supposed to have a heat and like cold system, whereas certain temperatures would affect your character. So you'd want to bring warm clothing in certain areas, and more breezy clothing in other areas. Otherwise, you'd be affected by the heat and the temperature from different areas. All of that was kind of scrapped because I don't know. I guess they thought it was just too complicated for the user base, or nobody else wanted to go through all that. What else have they changed? That was pretty cool. That was kind of my main things right there. I kind of missed that stuff.
Wait, what? Mark?
Do you remember when they said the original concept was with the clothing?
Oh,
How you're supposed to have warm clothing and cooler clothing. Like for example, the desert, you wanted to try and take off all your armor and bring like more cool clothing.
Yeah, man. Or, when night was actually night.
That's true, Jusine. I also believe that the hype for Black Desert actually came way more from the Western audience than the Eastern audience, simply because of the aesthetics and the art style are way more our kind of thing compared to a heavy fantasy-based architectures like Final Fantasy, the single-player games, or like Terra and stuff like that. And yes, I linked the old night, Kinto, the one video where it's like
Yeah.
really, really dark night and a rainstorm. It's really sad that things like this went out of
Yeah.
the window. Especially because this would entice players to actually use their lanterns which now are basically completely useless unless you found a really, really, really dark cave,
Hmm.
which has nothing interesting in it.
Yeah.
The environment does affect your character, however the effects are nerfed and rather minor these days, so if you're fighting in rain you get a penalty for damage output. I believe it's 5%. There is also in the desert itself, at day you run the risk to overheat, so you
Yeah.
have to drink water, and at night you run the risk to, what's it called, freeze.
Yeah, hypothermia and no shit.
Exactly, so basically at night you have to drink warm tea or set up a tent actually and sit at the campfire to get warm again.
Which state? Yeah.
It's back
Yeah.
again, by the way.
Oh.
But
It was just a bug.
like the current way that they did the system basically is it kind of feels like you're just potting through certain conditions
Cheesy,
because it's
yeah.
really cheesy debuffs.
How to handle this? Oh, just make it spammable pots. Yay!
Okay,
Why didn't we
but
think of
the
this?
desert debuffs spamming pots through is really annoying. I'd rather drink a glass of water than spamming 80 pots.
Another question: in the end game, 57 level plus, how many skill points am I gonna have? Do I have to choose wisely, or can I put whatever you want? You will have to choose wisely because basically, the further in skill points that you get, the harder and harder it is to obtain a next skill point. So because of that, you kind of want to optimize your build according to how you want to play.
Well, let's put it this way. At level 50 you're at around, what did we say, 500 points, right? And the cap where it gets harder to get SP experience is around 600 or something points, and your build starts to get effective at around 750 points. Now, considering that every tier of your skills costs more and more points, you really need to actually choose wisely. That's also the reason why we discussed that the skill reset needs to be in-game rather than just a paywall item. You might want to go back in the stream and listen to that point of the discussion. That would answer quite a lot of questions in terms of skill builds and how to choose.
Right. Um. But yeah, any more questions, guys, that you guys have for us? Oh gosh, what is this you linked? I have to read that later. Okay, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and wind down the stream now, since I have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's kinda getting late.
Yeah. Save money if you see
At
me.
least for me.
What's going on, Preston? You want some attention? You want some attention, brah? I'd give you attention, but my girlfriend wouldn't like it.
And that's why he says screenshot number 4 is decent.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoops.
Alright, guys, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to message me later about them, and I'll try to answer them. If you're just coming in, the stream will be up later on, and you can go ahead and rewatch it if you want to see any of the topics that we talked about. But yeah, again, it's been Kinto, Reckless, and Mizu talking about different topics within Black Desert. And yeah, that's it.
I feel like we should do this more often, actually.
Okay. That would be cool with me.
Goodbye, stream. Again.
That's my sign off. Yeah.
I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. Don't ever do that again.
Oh, okay. Fuck.
Man, senpai really scares me these days.
Alright, guys, so, I will have to catch you. Another one? One last? What's the last question? What's the last question? Go ahead. Shoot it. Blackstone be sold. I don't want to pay that much for it, though.
How much do you think the ONA will be? I think he's talking about the buy-to-play price.
It's a good question. I'm guessing anywhere between $30 and $60 for like the standard price. They could have early access packs that make you pay more, such and such, but I'm guessing anywhere between $30 and $60 at the moment. What do you think, Mizu, Reckless?
Yeah, I suppose so. I think the industry standard is somewhere between 40 and 55 bucks. I do believe Guild Wars 2 was 58 bucks.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I think that's how much it was too.
So that sounds like a fair price. Yeah, Guild Wars 2 was 50 bucks, and the expansion that they will launch soon is another 50 bucks.
Okay. Alright, guys. Well, yeah, I guess that'll be it for today. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to PM me, message me on YouTube, whatever, message me in the game. I don't care. I'll try to answer you as soon as possible whenever I'm not busy doing other things.
Wait, message me, because I don't care.
Whoa, whoa. I didn't mean it like that. You know what I mean. Alright, but yeah, that's about it, guys. Thanks everybody for watching. End stream now. Signing off. Lates.